Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in loving memory of Prince. Electric word, Prince, he's gone forever, and that's a mighty long time. But I'm here to tell you, there's one good thing, a bonus show. A show of tribute and of memory, from the 40-year-old boy to do him right. So just sit back and relax and enjoy the show. You know that Mike, he's gonna make everything alright. Remember the man and how much he meant to us. The last genius of our time, baby. Cause on this show, things are much easier when you laugh at them. On this show, the Joker's wild.
You're the one that wanted syllables, man.
All right. Well, I would have done syllables, then you made me take your syllables away.
Okay.
Max,
Yes, Mike.
has the record button been pushed?
Yes, Mike.
Shall we begin?
Yes, Mike.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Folks, I don't know. This is the show I never wanted to do. I could have said that every show the last 8 years. Fuck, man. I don't know. I came here not knowing what this was going to be. I didn't know what the tone of the show was going to be. Because I'm here to talk about Prince with my great friend Dave. Dave?
Yes.
Hi.
What
Because
about Prince?
I don't know if you heard.
What?
I'm sorry, where have you not?
I don't watch TV. What did he do?
Oh, he's disappeared. As we thought he would.
Is he on a milk carton?
People keep saying that he died. I don't think he died because it's incapable for Prince to die. He's not going to die. Because, I never thought he would die. He just he's already ethereal. He was already an apparition. He was, on Earth just for a short time. And then he threw a smoke pellet down and 30 doves flew in the air and he disappeared and he went away. That's what he did. And if you look up in the sky at night, you'll see that his face is now the moon. That's the kind of dude he is.
Good night, Prince.
So I didn't know what this show was going to be because I was fucking tremendously sad last week.
You envisioned it like a wake type of deal.
Well, I did because I don't know. When I heard, I was in Wisconsin and I was in a bedroom with a fucking guy from DirecTV as they were trying to fix a television. Here's the best part: there's two dudes it's me and two dudes in the bedroom. We're hooking up a TV, and by we I mean they, because I'm not doing it. And Jill yells from the kitchen. She's just like, Mike, and I says, yeah. She goes, honey. I said, hold on, babe, we're almost finished in here. She goes, honey, you need to come in here. And I said, well, all right, well, I'm in the bedroom with these two dudes. The last thing I need them to do is steal your necklaces and some panties. And
I love how you go right there.
Look, because that's what I would do if I was a DirecTV dude. And then she pokes her head in and just says, Prince died. And I said, what? And she said, Prince died. And this is gonna. What, you're gonna say something?
No, I know exactly what you're. Yeah.
Well, and because this will. I don't know if anybody out there is gonna. I don't give a fuck. This is me, and this is how I felt. It felt just like when my brother looked at me and said, "Dad's dead."
Really?
It was the exact. Well, because of the abruptness of it, there was no. I didn't find out. It was just this.
Just hit you.
Well, because I wasn't warned. There was no. It was just, hey, honey, you need to come in here. Okay, what's up? Prince died. What? And I froze. And the two DirecTV dudes are like, whoa. And the one guy goes, what'd you say? And she said, Prince died. And I said, Prince is dead? And the fucking DirecTV guy goes, that's my ex-uncle. And the thing is, I don't know if he meant he was his uncle, who now that he was dead, who was now his ex-uncle, which was like the fastest reaction of all time to a dying relative.
Are they really an ex then if they die?
I don't know.
I miss my ex-grandma.
No. She's like your eternal grandma, your eternal uncle at that point, right? But
Through
no,
marriage, probably.
Dude, that's my ex-uncle. And I just wanted to go, well, boy, you really should have kind of bonded more with your family ties there if you're out here fucking Sam putting in a goddamn DirecTV at my house. But it waylaid me, man. It fucking knocked me out. Because again, that's not something you saw. You never saw that. I guess I just didn't even think. Well, how did you find out about it?
I was actually on my way to boxing. I got in the car and I pulled out of the driveway, and I turned on the radio, and which is odd because I had a local, like, the Loop here,
Yeah.
WLUP. It's a rock station, and the what do you call it? The DJ just goes, TMZ. This is how early this was. TMZ's reporting, and she even said, "Now this is TMZ."
Yeah.
That Prince died, and I'm like literally, when you're backing up, I just stopped.
Yeah.
I'm in my own driveway. It's not like I was in traffic or anything, but I just stopped. It's like I couldn't even concentrate on backing out of the driveway. I just stopped and put the car in park. I go, did I just hear what I think I just heard? And then by the time so I have the radio on and they're playing music, because I'm trying to, I'm not a radio guy. I don't listen to a lot of radio stations, so I didn't know where the news station was. So I just had the music on. And by the time I got to the gym, the boxer guy, the training guy, he's got the radio on, and then they reported it and then everybody in the gym just kind of standing there.
Now, is your boxing coach still Des Dickerson?
Yes, he is.
All
He's
right,
a
I thought
modern
so.
air.
Yeah. And
When I woke up this morning, could have
phone it was Judgment Day. 10. You're out.
Doubles in.
Yeah. So I didn't know what this was going to be because I was really, because that day we were going. It just so happened Jill and I were going that night to go see Barry Manilow in concert. You can laugh all you want. Barry Manilow has hits, and they're
So
one of
does
these
Neil
days.
Sedaka.
Barry Manilow's going to be dead someday, and you're going to go. I've been listening to him for years. And
I
it's
think
fabulous.
fabulous.
The Prince thing hit me, and then I kept thinking throughout the day about it, and I wanted to write something, and I didn't want to just write like a tweet, but I wanted to say something about it
Yes.
because it meant something to me. It was special, and I didn't. And I wanted to honestly, I wanted to do a show right away because I just wanted to talk about it. But what I wanted to write page after page after page of this and what he meant and what he should have meant and what he should have done, and I wished I could have, because he was on this last tour, the Piano on a Microphone tour. And when they announced that and he wasn't doing a tour schedule, I started to wonder if maybe he knew something was up. I didn't think it at the time because again, he's just Prince. He does whatever the fuck he wants. But then when I heard that he had died, in my head I was like, well, did he know? Did he have any idea? Because Bowie knew. It came out after the fact. And so I don't know. I mean, I was trying to make sense of it in the moment, I suppose. But it's funny. We're getting ready for the Manilow thing, and I'm writing. I sat down to write, and I couldn't even listen to his music at first. I'm in Jill's place, and then and I wanted to throw music on, and I didn't. I didn't want to listen to it yet because I wasn't. I know it sounds bananas, but I just wasn't ready at all to hear his voice. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
I wasn't into the, hey, let's celebrate his life with joy thing yet, because I was still fucking climbing out from the ton of bricks that fell on me by finding out that he was gone.
Yeah, I guess the therapeutic thing on my end was, I was at the gym, so I had to do something.
Right.
So just the physical, exertion takes your mind off of whatever's bothering you. So I had that hour or whatever to process it. So by the time I got to the car afterwards, I was able to put the music on, because the thing is, I already had the music on. It's not like, I had a Prince playlist
I completely agree with you.
that I never listened to anymore.
Exactly.
It was already there. I mean, I literally just pressed play and it was there. It wasn't
it's so funny because they were, on the 80s station on Sirius that night as we're driving to the concert. Mark Goodman is hosting it, and they're playing, and in my head I go, don't play Let's Go Crazy. Don't play Let's Go Crazy. Just, there's so much more. There's so much more. The guy's got 39 studio albums, for fuck's sake.
And that's the thing that bugs me the most about this whole ordeal is that, even on Facebook, people are going, oh, I keep thinking of Purple Rain and When Doves Cry. I mean, what? I mean,
yeah. And look, there's nothing wrong with that.
If that's your favorite song, fine.
Right. Everybody mourns their own way, and there's no denying unbelievable home run classics. I mean,
Yes.
those songs will absolutely live forever. But the thing is, he's got 1,000 other songs that would live forever. Someone would listen to them and just go, "Oh yeah." I mean, the first song I ever heard, it was on GCI, when I was in.
That is the urban station for Chicagoland.
It was, and I was a guy I was a straight loop and MET guy. I never was GCI until I met Jeff, our friend Jeff, who totally loved the Gap Band and all that kind of music, and he got me into it. And then I listened to it, and I think it was not even thinking about it. It was sophomore year, and I heard Controversy on GCI.
That's the same thing. It was Controversy.
Yeah, that's the first song I ever heard, and I remember just going, oh my, what the fuck? Exactly. It was so, because again, I listened to Van Halen and Judas Priest and AC/DC and all those bands, and then I got into MTV, so I was watching because this has got to be 81 probably that I heard Controversy. I think maybe 82. Yeah, it's got to be 82. But I was into MTV, so I was starting to learn about other bands too.
Yeah.
But they never played any black music at all. None.
Michael Jackson is like the first.
Yeah, he was the one who crossed over and made it happen. But when I heard Controversy, I remember sitting there and just going, "Oh my, what the hell is that?"
Yeah, that's different. I like that.
Yeah, and I waited for them to say who it was, and then I heard it was Prince, and so I went and bought the Controversy cassette. And
What? Was that
No, this is 82. I didn't.
You weren't working at this job
Not till 85.
because bought that's not the right.
No,
word.
that'll tell you. Okay. I went and bought the country. And this is. I think I stole money out of my mom's purse to go buy my first Prince fucking cassette.
I love this story.
So does she.
So sentimental.
So literally, I did, and I went and bought it, and I remember listening to it and just going, "This is so unbelievably different than anything because I grew up, like I said, on Elvis and Kiss and all that stuff, and to hear him, because there was no denying." There was, this will sound stupid, there was an Elvis influence to what he did, but then there was also all this R&B stuff that I didn't know about, but he was so different and singular from anything I had heard up to that point in my life.
Yeah, because it wasn't R&B or soul or whatever they were calling GCI's demographic.
Yeah.
He was a black artist, they played him on that station, but not many of the songs at that time on GCI featured an electric guitar, especially one with distortion on it. And, even though he sang in a falsetto early in his career, the music wasn't typical soul music. It had rock in it. And it was just, it was a weird combination of sounds. And our peer group at the time, the UN of Evil, they're into, Van Halen, like you said, Def Leppard. And it's like, no, that's not, I like listening to this stuff.
Right. And that's why I say Jeff was my gateway into it, because he also he wasn't a rock dude like that. And it's so funny. I remember listening to it on headphones for the first time, the cassette, and hearing, "Don't you want to play?" Like that come in like that. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? How is that happening?
Where are his pants?
Yeah. And then the rest of the, all the songs like Ronnie Talked to Russia and Get Off and stuff like that. And it's just
Get Off is from Diamonds and Pearls.
No.
Jack
Let's Work. Jack You Off. There you go. And Let's Work and stuff like that. And Annie Christian. And I'm listening to it and going, and all of it was different. Like it was, because R&B could always be, especially then, it could be lumped in. You get your Kool and the Gang and people like that and stuff. But it had this element of rock to it and also danger. And he was doing stuff that was so different from anything I'd ever heard. I could not stop listening to it. I wore it the fuck out, that cassette. Yeah. And it made me want to hear more and go get more. And then fucking
1999 comes out.
1999 comes out. And Jeff got it first. And he's like, "You got to come over and hear it." And so I went to his place and I heard it, and I was just like, dude. Because again, 1999 is, again, one of those songs where they played that over the weekend. Good for them, and it's fucking amazing. But dude, Lady Cab Driver on that album is fucking fantastic. It's just, that's a song they should be playing in fucking, over and over and over. That and Let's Pretend We're Married. Those are the two best songs on the album for me.
DMSR.
Dude,
come on.
Fuck yes. Delirious out of nowhere, because then Delirious is in like some 80s like John Hughes movie, and it was one of those things where you're like, that doesn't even, because that doesn't even sound
fit.
like no, it doesn't sound like Prince at all even. Yeah. And it ends with that little baby noise, and you're just like, why would he throw that in there? God damn it!
I need a baby.
You know what's we need a do that again. It just made me laugh. Prince, how did you Prince? Do you want a crescendo at the end of this? How did you want to end the song?
We need a baby.
I'm sorry?
A baby. A little boy baby. Or a girl.
If you need me, I'll be in my tent. Dude.
I'm going to go sit on this cupcake.
Dude, let's Pretend We're Married is the fucking... dude, please, dude.
Yeah.
Excuse me, dude. I can't because I can't do his voice. I don't want to fucking ruin it. But does just Marsha, I'm not saying this just to be nasty.
I
Sincerely want to fuck the taste out of your mouth. And then he says, "Can you relate?"
Can you relate?
Like that line alone wasn't enough to get Marsha on board.
Let me think.
Hold on a second. Well, can you relate? I actually can.
I was gonna have ice cream later, but I don't know.
There's a great part in the song where it's like doom 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 doom, and then at the end, and then it goes doom 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 doom, like it's the same riff, but it goes up a key.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! And again, stuff when that would happen when you're listening to it and you just do that little dance where you just kind of jump in the air and go. What was that? Daffy Duck style, man. You just want to go crazy for it because his stuff is just fucking amazing. And then once I hear 1999 and dude, because Little Red Corvette, just the opening layer keyboard. Honestly, I love his voice and it's brilliant, but the I don't know anything about music. All I know is you're like, that's a hook. There's the hook right there. There's this 4-layer keyboard thing that and then he just. Yes, I should. And he just comes walking up in the videos. Then when you saw the videos, you're like, oh, I get it. He's a satyr. That's who he is. This guy's just a giant cock with an afro. I mean, holy God.
He's a pirate of some sort.
Dude, the fucking when the music kicks in for the solo and he does the dance in the video,
dance, yeah.
And then he hits the ground. He does he does the splits, but then he does the spinning the leg
dance,
loop. Where he kicks the leg underneath the other leg and then stands up and then he just kind of dances back and then stops and goes, woo, woo, woo. You're like, oh my God, again. Woo, 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 woo. You just want to jump up and down. I feel like breakdancing. I want to high five everybody in the world, literally, because he's just so fucking perfect. He was so perfect. And I knew it then. I'm fucking 17, 16 and watching him just going, that's the guy to be.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought, all these influences a person has, like if you're a creative person, if you're a musician or artist or whatever, you've got influences, and like Bowie was an influence, and all these people were influences when I was growing up. I mean, I first learned I could carry a tune by listening to my mom's Elvis records, but I identified with, he was the only one I identified with, because I read that he recorded his first album, he played all the instruments. I mean, he did everything, and I'm like, that's really cool.
Wasn't he 18?
Yeah. I mean, to be able to do that, and then it made me go, well, he's got something inside of him, and I identified it because at the time I had stuff inside of me, and I didn't know how to get it out, and here's a guy that was getting it out, and later in his career, everybody would say, oh man, sometimes they accused him of saturating his market. Like he's just, he's putting too much music out, the demand for it. And, but I'm like, you don't understand what it's like to have that in you where you have all this stuff and you need to get it out, and you don't care if it's too soon, or you don't care about an album coming out or putting it, you just need to get it out.
You need to create.
Yes.
You need to create. And
there has to be an outlet for it.
Right. And he wasn't putting out garbage. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like, because I got 3121 and I got, the other album, the other one that came after it. I mean, that song Fury is as good as a lot of the stuff that he put out on Diamonds and Pearls and those albums. He was a creative genius, and he needed to be heard. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And anybody who tells an artist to stifle themselves can get fucked. Anybody who tells a guy, well, don't do that. Leave him wanting more. Wait a year and put the album out. It's like,
no, you don't understand what that. Yeah.
No, he's got a monster in him that he needs to get the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. I go, there's a guy that has. I have a monster. I have a smaller monster. My monster isn't as cool as Prince's monster is awesome.
Nobody's monster is as cool as Prince's.
Yeah,
monster.
I'm saying I might have my monster might be okay, but I realize that it's possible to do that. I realize that part of the frustration I would get when even just recently when recording, part of it was based on the fact that nobody wants to work when I want to work. I used to think early when I started recording, even for stuff for your show, I'm like, oh, I need a drummer to come in here. And I go, I played with a bunch. I know a really good drummer. I'll call him up and I'll say, hey, come on over and play on this track for me. Then I realized I didn't want to wait for that person to get his schedule. So I came down and I bought a set of drums and I started teaching myself how to play not because I was like, I wanted to show off and say, look, I can do this. It's because I needed to do that thing right now. And I don't want to wait on somebody else. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to teach myself how to do it. And I realized just in this past week, the whole reason I was like that is because of Prince.
Yeah.
Or even Stevie Wonder, same thing. He would do that. He'd go in and play the drums on his tracks, play all the instruments.
I always reference the line from Devil's Rejects. It's from William Forsythe. He's got these 3 serial killers, and he's tied them to a chair, and he's torturing them all with a nail gun.
That's similar to what I was saying.
Of course. And he looks at them and he says, we here are playing on a level that most will never see.
Oh, you found the source for that.
Oh, I've always known it.
Yeah.
I actually, it's funny. I actually taped it with my phone. It's on my phone at all times now. We are playing on a level that most will never see. And man, people like you and Prince, obviously different, but the same.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I didn't.
You know what I mean.
I wasn't doing it in
I'm just
a
talking
braggart way. I just said it strikes me as somebody who I looked at and went, like you would see Letterman or Mike Toomey or Dennis Miller, and you go, wait, I can do that in my own way. I can do that. That's what Prince was. I said I can do that. I can learn how to play these instruments, and not just a matter of learning how to play the instruments, but a matter of learning how to play them and use them the right way and balance them the way he did,
Well, you're right, and I'll tell you what. Let's hear you play some of those instruments right now.
I knew a guy named Schmitty to go on a trip would fill him with dread. You'd find him in his hotel bedroom, masturbating on his nice clean bed. You'd say, why's he have to be that guy? But you would not object if you saw little Schmitty fly. Took away his apple juice and they wanted to switch his seat. No electronic devices and no Biscoff biscuits to eat. And he's forced to sit right by small talk guy. A switch gets flipped when Schmitty wanted to fly. So if he goes out looking for food or pornography, you can't blame him for his need for vice or his psychopathic tendencies. So if you think you wanna give him a try, oh hell no, 'cause he'll show you no mercy, but he'll show you how to lie. Little Schmitty,
So, dude, get this. I come home the other day. My door's unlocked.
Yeah.
So I figure somebody broke in. So I go in the house. Someone's using the stereo. Sugar Walls is like blaring through my house.
Okay.
I go upstairs. My bed is unmade. It's like it was made when I left, but somebody screwed it all up. I look around. There's rubbers everywhere.
Dude.
Trojans. Some of them used. Dude, Prince fucked Sheena Easton in my bed.
What?
Prince didn't have the decency to change your sheets.
Prince is a dick. We did those. We rushed those actually. There's like I think we got like 3 or 4 of those Prince is a dick spots, and it was funny because I wanted them, and Dave, he we're different. I just kind of fucking fire away. Yeah, I don't fuck around. I'm just like, let's do it. Let's put it on. Let's make it happen. Let's go. And he wants to meticulously craft and actually, let's see, do some work and make something perfect. He wants to sand off all the rough edges, whereas I like the idea so much, I just wanted to churn them out. So that weekend, we did. I think we did like 45 spots where
Yeah, it
we
was
not only
just-
writing, recording, and then editing, putting them all together. So that's Dave's favorite of the Princess of Dick spots. We had, like I said, I was going to play them all in here. I'm like, dude, I'm going to play all the Princess of Dick spots. And he's like, you know.
Because when I listen to him, to me, it's like, oh gosh, I wish I would have done that better. I would have put the guitar through this. I would have done the vocal different. It's different. We are the same when it comes to what we want to churn stuff out. Like, I don't like to take a long time to do something.
Right.
I like to do things. But when it comes to music, it's just things I learned the hard way. It's got to be right because you're going to live with it forever.
Well, it's like
it's recorded music. You
True.
can't go
Well, it's
back.
like when you write a bit, when you write a joke, language is so important. Words are so important, and I understand that with music too. You want to make sure it's right the first time. So I'm here to make sure you don't do that and just fucking
Well,
rush it out.
when you do a show, sometimes you like I just stutter sometimes or misspeak or don't I don't get it out the right way.
Right.
You have that leeway in the spoken word on the podcast. For me, a recorded bit, if the thing's not right, I'm going to fix it. And
Well,
sometimes it
here's the
takes a long
thing too,
time.
but that lends itself to also to discussing Prince because Prince was meticulous in what he did in the studio. Prince always made sure, because I wanted to point this out. I almost talked about it a second ago. Like I said, the layering of the keyboards in front of Little Red Corvette. But he had a habit of doing this thing, and because he does it in, well, all right, I'll get to this. In Get Off, I think it's Get Off. Is that Peter Paul's Almond's Joy? Is that let me show you, baby, I'm a talented boy.
Yeah.
We said, he can play so many instruments. That's the whole thing. And that was the thing I fucking heard over and over in the news.
Didn't I tell you what I heard? I don't want to interrupt you, but during the all the coverage when they had nothing to talk about other than the fact that Prince had died, some anchor woman on CNN goes, "Do you know that Prince self-taught musician?" Isn't he? She goes, "It's rumored that he could play 25 instruments," and I looked at Val and I were watching. I looked at him. I go, 25 instruments? Because there aren't 25. That's not. There's not even enough. What do you got? Guitar, bass, drums,
Yeah.
keyboards.
Well, then there's like all those horns and
He
shit.
can't play. He never played no horns.
How do you know?
Prince can't play. I'm just saying, man. Val looks at me.
Dude, Prince can play fucking anything. And that gets to what I'm saying here. In that song, Get Off, he does this thing where he goes, me plus you. What a ride. And you're like, oh my God. You know what Prince plays? He plays tongue in cheek.
He's got a wood block or something.
No, it's in his mouth because then on the Saturday Night Live, which I'll talk a little bit more about, they showed him on stage singing and he's singing because I was looking down and I'm reading something at the same time online and he goes, like he does it again in the middle of a song and I'm like, oh my God, he fucking did it all the time. Prince totally played Roof of Mouth. That was like, he credited himself with that on those albums.
Maybe that's one of the 25. Is Roof of Mouth count as an instrument? You think he figured that out?
I think so.
He's like, hey, check this out.
Well, come on. If you're Prince and you're in Paisley Park and it's like if you're not up playing basketball or eating pancakes, you're just like, you know what?
Look what I can do.
I think I'm going to master the castanets. Castanets are an instrument. You know he mastered those finger cymbals in fucking 7. I mean, that's what he could do.
So I guess that would count as part of the 25 instrument. Because I was thinking, because Val even goes to me, he goes, did Prince play the bagpipes or something? I mean, what?
Dude.
What 25 name besides the core instruments you'd need to make a Prince song. You'd have to be able to play the synthesizers, the guitars, the drums, the bass. You'd have to be able to arrange horns. You'd have to be able, you have to be able to sing harmonies and stuff. Like
Roof of Mouth.
All right. If Roof of Mouth, I mean, does he play the violin?
Of course he does. I don't know why you doubt anything. It's there's no doubt that he was in his house.
Check it out.
Dude, are you right now trying to tell me to my face that you don't think Prince could play an oboe? You really?
A cello?
A flugelhorn?
Wait. Daddy beloved. Hey, check this out. That's a cello.
I just picture Prince running up to like whoever's at Paisley Park and just going, okay, listen to this. If the elevator tries to break you down, go crazy one time.
The Euro.
I don't know what the fuck is this thing.
I think I don't know how you say it. It's spelled Guiro. Guiro.
Guero?
Yeah, it's a Latin percussion instrument. Maybe does that count? Or is that when you play it? It sounds like a duck.
You tell me Prince couldn't play a duck call? Prince could play the fuck out of a duck call. That's all he did. He walked around his house just naked with like women writhing on the floor, and he's playing a zither. It's fucking amazing. Just Prince is walking around like I'm guaranteeing you, like on Saturdays, just Prince only spoke through a theremin, and the help was used to it. He'd be in his room and just be like, and Big Chick would run in and go, "You want a sandwich, Prince? Ham or cheese?" And fucking Big Chick would know what he was doing. God damn it!
Chick.
You're damn right. You tell
Kids piano. Did you play kids piano? I have that. Look at it. Baby, what's it gonna be?
You know, on this last tour, he was playing Linus and Lucy.
Was he really?
It was on his set list. Yeah, he would play it in the middle of. He played it when I saw him at the Staples Center when he did the residency here in Los Angeles. Not here in Los Angeles, but in Los Angeles.
I don't know how to play that.
But Prince, I don't know where Bobby Z's phone number is.
You're not feeling good? You need to talk to Dr. Fink?
Check your purple Rolodex. I don't know. I don't know if that's a theremin or Prince is squeezing a cat. I don't know. But he's still making it work, goddammit, because he's fucking Prince. 1999 comes out. My friend Jeff lets me listen to it, and I'm shocked by it. Again, like I said, then Little Gold Corvette, and then the videos are killer in 1999, and there's Dez and Wendy and Lisa and everybody. And it also made me want to go back, because like I said, I had Controversy already, but it made me go back and get Dirty Mind, which is, what the hell was that?
I thought it was, I thought I had, what's the song? Delirious. I thought I had Delirious on here somewhere. I don't know where it is.
I bought Dirty Mind on cassette. Yes, that's right. I paid. I bought it. It's another album I bought more than a few times. And
That's it.
you got it?
Probably should have practiced these before you came.
Maybe, but why would you? There's no reason to do that. Dirty Mind is just that. Again, that song, the fucking bip bip bip. I can't. That little like keyboard sting, ding 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 ding. I wanna get about your bed. I'm gonna have it all the time.
You know what did it for me is that when he started singing in his regular voice.
I wanna get about it, babe.
Is that Prince with an inner ear infection?
I had a dirty mind. That's a Prince. He got elbowed in the head playing basketball. They give him smelling salts. He's trying to come to.
Oh, I get near me.
Doesn't matter where you are. Where are you, Prince? Doesn't matter what you do. Oh my God, Prince, are you okay?
I don't think Prince is okay. I think he bumped his little head.
Dude, When You're Mine
dude.
That is a song. Again, like I said, there's a Lady Cab Driver and songs like but if When You Were Mine is such an astonishing. Again, the best part is the break where it's just him and the guitar. Because that's another thing is he's the greatest. He's as a guitarist, he's just so fucking rock, but soulful, but brilliant. And everything he did was beyond reproach. I'm sorry, I will argue with anybody. Prince is a fucking
Who's
genius.
going to argue? I mean,
Everybody. You're seeing that weird backlash now where people are just
not
like,
even now. It only took a day before some idiot was on Facebook putting stupid jokes about Prince dying, and it just not cool.
And again, I'm the wrong guy to discuss this with because I think everything is for fair game and everything is funny.
Yes, but I think I agree. I do agree because I mean I'd be the first one to make fun of China. The next day.
It's funny. I love the fact that, first of all, my friend Larry, who listens to the podcast we went to school with, I didn't know China died. So I wake up to my cell phone, I just look at it and it says, "Rest in peace, China." Loved that guy. And I was like, oh my, perfect joke. Literally 5-word perfect joke. Fucking home run. But then because again, and what did, but what was the thing that drove you crazy about China when people said it after Prince? What, seriously, because I know you're going to say the same thing I'm going to say.
The people said about China. What do you mean? That about her being? Oh, they compared it to the Farrah Fawcett.
She was now Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, that's,
in because when Michael Jackson died, Farrah Fawcett died the same day, and nobody really gave a flying fuck. But when Prince died, China died. I'm like, I'm sorry, Farrah Fawcett had thumb nipples, not a thumb clit. So I'm sorry, I can't compare the two.
You have a preference on your large genitalia.
Well, I mean,
what gets preference?
You
go over nipples over protruding nether region.
Well, look, I'm not going to out myself completely here. I'm on board for what everybody brings to the table. I'm fine with it. But what I'm saying is...
We named a dinner after China's vagina.
Yes, we did. But I don't... I mean, China doesn't carry the level of weight that Farrah Fawcett did, in my opinion. But again, it was that thing where everybody...
A celebrity dies and then a bigger celebrity dies.
Well, yeah, they rush to it and then they have to go into that. But I don't... It's artless snark that bothers me, and
that's what I'm talking about. And if you want to make a joke about Prince dying, fine, but make it funny.
Sure.
Don't just be doing it just because you want to be the first one to do it, and it's stupid.
But that's what social media has lent itself to, is everybody has to rush forward and do that first joke. And I have to admit, like I said, when I was listening to the tribute songs or whatever, and I was like, please don't play Let's Go Crazy. But then they played Let's Go Crazy, and I was like, fuck, I'm excited to hear this. I haven't heard it in a while.
Yeah.
But then you hear the words, and I'm like, I don't.
Not gonna let the elevator bring me.
Oh my god, dude! I just went, oh my god, that's fucking bananas.
You know what's even weirder is if people, obviously there's speculation about his possibly overdosing.
Well, it's so funny because I find myself like when Philip Seymour Hoffman overdosed.
Yeah,
I was beside myself, angry that we had lost such a talented guy for such a stupid reason. And addiction is stupid, but I mean, I have them myself, and I recognize that, and I also understand that some people give into their weaknesses and bad things happen. I get that, but I find myself explaining things for Prince. Like, what were you going to say?
Well, I was thinking of the reality. See, a lot of times with celebrities, they're so eccentric. You think that their lives, for the most part, their lives are weird. They're different than us. That's why they're so odd. They're weird. They do weird stuff. They make pancakes for people, and all this.
Yeah,
goofy things that Prince has been said to have done, but the realism of dying in an elevator in your studio by yourself. What was he trying to get downstairs and he just fell asleep?
Yeah,
was he in a robe? You know what I mean? Did he have pajamas on?
Yeah,
he didn't have his makeup on.
All of that is true.
I'm just saying, it's the reality. It's like it's what they say about Elvis. You know, the king of rock and roll. Here's this icon to millions, and he died in the toilet trying to take a dump.
Yeah, he died with an Adobe block in his ass. I mean,
but I mean, they found him. He was in pajamas and a robe, and it's a reality thing, man.
Well, I keep
bother
making
me.
the excuses for him because when she said he died, and I went and I did the research on it, and they were kind of running around, and they're first of all they're looking for there's foul play, which honestly I have to admit. Part of me wishes that there had been, because its story is fucking outrageously unbelievable.
Yeah.
That there was a guy who broke into Paisley Park and killed Prince in an elevator. I mean, that's just
take this, Prince.
Yeah, because if he was gonna die, he'd be like, all right, well that it's like another Highlander got him. It's basically what happened, because there can be only one. Like that's because he's not a creature of this earth. If he died, it had to be because the Kurgan came and fucking took him. Finally.
Yeah, they'll be if they're not already probably. Conspiracy theories.
I mean, I've heard them.
Yes,
I mean, you continue to hear them, but because that's the thing is he died. They had the autopsy on Friday. They cremated him on Saturday. And Jill looked at me. She goes, "That's kind of weird. Why would they fucking cremate him so quick?" And I go, "You know what?" And again, I have an answer for everything with Prince, like other than, hey, he's Prince. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But
people read things into other people's things, not understanding that there probably is a reason. Well, and that reason is normal, and the reason might be very boring and it's not tabloid worthy.
Or it is completely tabloid worthy, where he just went, hey, I don't want anybody taking pictures of me dead.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So why don't we go ahead and dispose of me as quickly as possible? Because I started to think about all that. I'm starting to think about his will. And I'm like, who gets Paisley Park? Because he doesn't have any kids that we know of. He married that one Maite or whatever the hell her name was. And I think that's the only person he married.
No, he was married twice.
Was he married twice? Okay. So
and I believe he lost 2 kids. I know he lost the one.
Right.
But I think
but he has no surviving kids for which to disperse. And does Paisley Park become a museum? Does he donate the studio? I don't know, but I remember. So again, like I said, when he wound up dying, and they were saying they're investigating him, and he had to have the save shot, the Narconon or whatever the fuck save shot that's when he stopped in Moline for. Because when I had first heard that he had to stop because he had the flu and he stopped in Illinois, I wondered about it because I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know what kind of flu you have that they have to stop your jet and take you to the hospital.
Yeah, it's the flu. You can make it to Minneapolis.
Right, and the thing is, he's a Jehovah's Witness, so he can't do hard drugs. He doesn't drink. I mean, that's just the life that he lived. So when I heard the stuff about the Percocet and I heard all these different things, I made the excuse for him that if you've ever been on stage, you know that you get kind of a thing going and you get high from it and you buzz a lot, and then when you have to calm down when you get off. Well, I can't imagine what it would be like to go and do a fucking 7 encore show, a 4-hour 7 encore show like in Toronto, and then have to get on a plane, and then you're by yourself. You're just sitting there. So maybe the guy has to sleep, maybe under stage lights, maybe he has to do anything to try to take the edge off, and that's how he would do it. I don't know.
That's because you love the guy, just like the women and the people that loved Elvis when he died, and it was obvious that drugs had a lot to do with it. They rationalized it the same way.
Sure.
I don't particularly agree with it. I think it doesn't really matter. In the big picture, it doesn't matter if Prince overdosed to me. It doesn't matter if he had some kind of disease he knew he was dying from. Right? It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that, he's not here anymore. And what are you going to take from it? Are you it was different for me. It was different with Michael Jackson. To me, Michael Jackson had a lot of stuff about him that I didn't particularly care for. I thought he had a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with, I didn't like, and I was sorry that he passed away, but I looked at him as just being a victim of his own ridiculousness.
Well, and he was complicit, in my opinion. He was complicit in his own demise because of the way he had chosen to experience life.
What he was doing, I mean, in the allegations of the kids and the molestation and stuff, it's just shady, and yes. I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. Every time I see him being, praised or something, I'm like, all right, you want to praise him as a musician? Fine. Do you want to praise Woody Allen as a great film director? Fine. But when I look at people like that, I kind of just say, oh, all right, they're humans, they're flawed. With Prince, it's like, I really don't care because he's just, he's not here anymore.
But it's not like, I understand that, but I'm not. It's not. I'm not obsessed with what happened. I'm just.
Well, I'm commenting on how we all turn from the shock to why.
Well,
and then when the why isn't good enough, we make up stories as to why, or we speculate as to why, instead of just going, what does it matter to me in my life and my having to go to work or get up and take my kids to school?
Well, because I'd like to make some fucking sense of it. That's all. I mean,
sometimes it doesn't make any sense.
But it's not going to stop me from trying to make sense of it. I mean, I don't.
Yes, but you have a reasonable expectation of it. At some point, you understand there are things that can't be explained, and you just move on.
Sure.
I'm referring to the people that will turn this into an obsession, where this will eventually be a true crime story.
He was killed, I get
Warner Brothers put a hit out on him, and all that nonsense that's coming up already. It's just ridiculous because it's so predictable, and it just takes away from the fact that shit happens.
So when Purple Rain comes out,
it's coming out
when it does.
Oh, or when it did.
When it did, everybody. It's so funny because he blew up in such a way with all of our friends and the people we knew. But we fucking knew who he was.
Yeah, he was our Tito Puente.
Yeah, we were already on board with him.
We've been listening to him for years, man.
I don't have to go to a theater in 1984 to discover the fucking guy because I'm like, oh, you should listen to Dirty Mind. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm listening to.
Is that what it sounds like when doves cry? Dirty Mind? Is that what you're saying? But then that movie comes out and the album, and he becomes literally he's Michael Jackson. I mean, he just becomes this gigantic megastar, huge, explodes. And he was, he had smart enough to have Apollonia's tits in there, which was really fucking awesome. And just
he destroyed the jellies.
Yeah, he smashed the jelly.
He smashed the jellies.
So that comes out and makes him this huge worldwide star. But I have to admit, I felt like, finally, you know what I mean? And he was, because there was all those stories. Like I remember reading the story that he got booed off stage and opening for the Stones, wherever it was in Madison Square Garden. And he became this kind of mysterious figure with 1999. He'd show up in purple all the time. And everybody just thought he was a fucking weirdo. And I remember just thinking he was a genius. And it's like, you give genius rope, Genius can do whatever it wants. So then when Purple Rain came out, you're almost kind of like, you get to cross your arms and sit back and go, yeah,
you.
exactly. This is the dude. And it was, I remember, again, that's when even fucking meathead white dude was just like, yeah, man, that guy kind of fucking rocks. And like, I wonder who played that guitar for him on the song. And you're like, no, dude, that's fucking him. That's him destroying. Because, you know, not only he could dance, he could play guitar, he could sing, he could write. And I'll let you decide whether he could act or not. But
You're in the business.
that's not Leg Minnetonka.
You're getting my seat wet. That movie, I was telling Kristen last night, whenever you turn that movie on, you know, you get the info on it. It always has 3 stars because it's considered a classic.
Yeah.
That's only because of Prince's performance, musical performance.
And the music, yeah.
That movie is awful.
Oh,
when
sure.
when you really watch it, it's horrible. The acting is horrible, and it's a 3-star movie.
But Morris and Jerome steal the entire film.
But even
You know
some
what
of
I
their
mean?
parts are kind of shady. Like,
They're ridiculous.
Yes.
But it doesn't. But I'm saying, as far as like
Yeah.
screen charisma, I mean, I love
Password
Prince.
Onion
you know,
Head.
Yeah, but fucking Morris he just stomps all over him in that goddamn movie, dude. Just How's the Family is worth everything. In that goddamn thing. Ah-ha-ha! And then for him to kind of like make that little face and he puts the fingers like, man, even that was cold for me. And that's another thing is, you know, at this point in time, the Time then releases Ice Cream Castle, which becomes a huge hit because of their association
Jungle
with
Love
Prince
and
and the Bird. But also, dude, there was like, and we, you know, fuck, Wendy and Lisa go off and they make the song is Waterfalls. I forget the name of the album, but I mean
the first album they released is Wendy and Lisa.
Yeah.
Then they had Fruit at the Bottom. Was one of their albums.
Yeah. And
Those, yeah.
they're great albums. They're
They're
fantastic,
fantastic.
because they co-wrote with Prince. That's another thing is they were, you know, they contributed and he listened to them, and he even, you know, he credits afterwards that she came up with the hook for Purple Rain.
Yeah.
And then, you know, fucking Andre Simone, dude, Andre Simone, Dance Electric, like that song is the greatest. And Jesse Johnson's Review, like, I mean, those all, they always talk about how he was what did they say? He was the pioneer of the Minneapolis sound. No, he was
He
the
is.
Minneapolis sound.
He's everybody. He's like McCartney in the late 60s.
Yeah.
He takes Badfinger and goes, here's this song, come and get it.
Do it.
Play it just like this. Don't screw around with it. Record it just like this. They do, and it's a number 1 hit.
And then he creates Vanity 6, and then Vanity is like, yeah, no, I can't do this anymore. He's like, all right. Apollonia 6. We'll just go ahead. Call the
Tammy
art
6.
department.
Irene 6.
He didn't care. Susie 6. Let's do it. Fuck.
I don't care how boring your name is.
Marcia 6.
We just need 6.
Marcia, I'm not saying this just to be nasty, but I need you to put on some lingerie and get up there and sing Sex Shooter. So that's the thing is he is the Minneapolis sound, period. I mean, there was other things happening. The Replacements were fucking brilliant out of there, and Bob Mould and Husker Du and all that came out. But that was different. And even they this weekend, like Westerberg said, he goes, Prince is it. Prince is the best. Prince will never be like challenged. And even Bob Mould, he wrote this incredibly moving piece where he's just like, yeah, I'm actually going to First Avenue tonight. I mean, so to see them all, because again, I worship the Replacements, and I love Bob Mould, and I loved Sugar and Husker Du, and not so much Husker Du. I wasn't familiar with them till after. Who the fuck cares? But to see them be brilliant, and
Breathe,
and
dude,
also,
breathe.
I never breathe. You know that. And they throw it in back and just talk about what a genius. Because again, such a genius dude. They're having moments of silence for him at hockey games this weekend. He transcended any sort of boundary that you could think of as far as entertainment or music, and just became they always say icon. But I mean, you know, Michael Jackson and Prince and Madonna were the Beatles of the 80s, essentially. You know what I mean? They were constantly churning out unbelievable product, and they were always there. And Prince was just so ridiculously mega talented. He kept it up for decades and decades.
Yeah. See, what was I gonna say? You tell me. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
You made me lose my train of thought.
So Purple Rain comes out. And
I was gonna say is that the you said the Minneapolis, that sound, that
Right.
Paisley Park sound.
Yeah.
I mean, you named all those artists. All those artists completely capitalized. They dominated that music. Andre Simone. I have that album. I have
So
the
do I.
Wendy and Lisa album. The Times album.
And you buy them because they sound like Prince.
It's like he just said. I got to have other guys doing. I got too much stuff. You guys take this stuff.
Well, that's not even getting into the shit that he wrote for other people. He
Yeah.
wrote fucking Manic Monday.
Yeah.
And which is astonishing. And again, I remember at the time, whenever he would give a song to a girl, they're like, well, that's who Prince is fucking now. Prince is fucking Susanna Hoffs. Prince is fucking Sheena Easton. Dude, he wrote Sugar Walls. That song.
Who else would write Sugar
Of course,
Walls?
but it's the fucking best. That's the thing is when you hear the words of it and you hear her singing
Yeah.
blood races to my private spots. You don't think Sheena Easton at one point went, fucking hell, you really want me to sing that? And he's just like, yeah, trust me, it'll work. I'm sorry. Yeah, trust me, it'll work.
Get it, baby.
Or no, she said, fucking hell, do you want me to sing blood races to my private parts? Prince spoke to other artists solely through his theremin. That's how he worked it. Big Chick and the other artists all fucking understood it. So yeah, I mean, it's just
He had a French horn.
just astonishing the that he gave all of this music away and he made all these other artists essentially famous. Dude, on Kiss, the song Kiss
Oh, I
off
thought
of,
you were going to say Kiss.
he
to the
influenced
Prince.
Kiss.
We were greatly influenced by.
We discovered Prince. Why did I give Gene Paul's lisp?
We discovered Prince in 1973.
But on the song Kiss, which is another one where he sings in the falsetto the whole time
Yeah.
until that part where he goes, I can't even do it. I mean, it's just that where he hits the deep and
That's the other thing. Singing in a falsetto, you got the balls to do that because a falsetto sounds really silly sometimes if you don't do it right, if you're not in the right environment, if you don't master the pitch of your voice. Falsetto is just, it can be really bad. And here's a guy that could sing all his songs in falsetto, but then he dropped back down into his regular singing voice, which is a baritone. So like a song like The Beautiful Ones. You know, he's like, I don't know what key it's in, but, you know, baby, baby, baby. You know, he's all up there, right? What's it gonna be? Is it you? That's hard as hell.
Yeah, I don't
It's
doubt
almost
it.
like a yodeling thing. You really go from your regular voice up to that falsetto, and that's hard as hell to do that.
Yeah.
I can't. And then it's one thing to do it in a studio when you got the effects and everything. It's another thing to play it live on stage and sing in a falsetto for the whole song. I mean,
I want to. Let's talk about that when we come back. But so right now, we're going to listen to you play some more instruments. Actually, I'm going to play two things here. One little. The first thing we're going to hear is, our great friend Lily Von Stupp does the Monday Night Teas.
oh yeah,
And
that's right.
she had an all Prince show called Erotic Titty.
I remember you loved the title.
I did. I thought it was ridiculous. And then she said, I want, well, let's talk about Erotic City really quick. I remember that because that was just a throwaway that came out on like a 12-inch.
Boom.
Dude, Sheila E. How do we forget Sheila E.?
Boom, boom. We don't forget Sheila E.
When they were talking on the radio this weekend, because they were kind of talking about that, like you said, they said he pioneered the Minneapolis sound. They played Belle of St. Mark. I mean, look, I love Glamorous Life,
Yeah.
but dude, Belle of St. Mark on that album is just I'm in love with
yeah.
the Belle of St. Mark, and again, it's just fucking genius. And again, it all sounds like him.
Yeah.
So you did a piece of music for Erotic Titty
She wanted like an intro to get if I'm remembering
before the show
correctly.
even started.
She wanted something to let everybody know it was time to sit down, turn your phones off, because
Yeah.
here's the show.
So I'm going to play that, and then I'll play something else.
All right.
Erotic titty.
Welcome everybody to Monday Night Teases. Erotic titty.
Erotic titty.
Please put your cell phones and cameras away. Sit back and enjoy. The ladies, girls and boys. He only knew her for a little while, but he had grown accustomed to her style. She had the cutest ass he'd ever seen. hard not to go insane. Birds do fly like rain. I love you, baby, I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch. Meet me at another world, space and joy. Who's our trade bell, mama, girls and boys? Life is precious, baby, love is so rare. I can take the breakup if you say that you care. He had to run away, his pride was too strong. It started raining, baby, the birds were gone. I love you, baby, I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch. Meet me at another world, space and joy. Who's our trade bell, mama, girls and boys? I love you, baby, I love you so much. I want you, baby. Maybe we can stay in touch. Meet me at another world, space and joy. Who's our trade bell, mama, girls and boys? I love you, baby, I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch. Meet me at another world, space and joy. Who's our trade bell, mama, girls and boys? Love you, baby, I love you so much. I want you, baby, maybe we can stay in touch. Meet me at another world, space and joy. Who's our trade bell, mama, girls and boys? Happiness in its uncut form is the feeling that I get. You're warm. Happiness what I get when we do what we do. Happiness in mama is being with you. Good Lord. Meet me somewhere after dawn. I love you, baby, I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch. I love you, baby, I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch. 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 I love you, baby, I love you so much. Maybe we can stay in touch. Meet me at another world, space and joy. Who's our trade bell, mama, girls and boys? 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 Who's our trade bell, mama, girls and boys?
And that song, Not Erotic Titty, that is not available. That's just a bonus for you guys to listen
That's
to.
Lily's.
Yeah, but that last song was Girls and Boys
From
Parade, right? Is that the Parade? Is that album called Parade?
Yeah, songs from the movie
Under the Cherry Moon. Yeah. And that was our friend Dave Hernandez. And that is available on the, and I don't want to sully this with a lot of plugs, but on the Heroes album that you did.
Yes.
And which is available now at our website. Go check it out at the Joe Business page on MikeSchmidtComedy.com. That's just on there because, again, it was all of his influences, a lot of his influences, and Prince wound up on there. Of course, he had to.
And it was the hardest thing in the world to get it down to one. All the other artists I knew, I had one or two songs I liked, I wanted to try. Prince, there was five, and
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta pick one because I just gotta pick one.
Unless you were just going to do like an album.
I know.
of
I mean,
Prince.
then yeah, What? I don't see the point in that.
Well, I do. I wouldn't argue with it. You know, I always like new music, and I love hearing it from you. So that's available. Go check it out. But that was our friend Dave doing that here in the very basement I'm coming to you from now.
And if you listen, those are real drums, and I struggled through it, but I think I got it.
You know what I loved hearing about Prince? I loved hearing that he was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about him, because you see these other guys, like I don't think Elvis was funny
I think Elvis was funny.
in the beginning, but then once he became a fathead.
The more drugs he took, the goofier he probably
Well,
was.
but Goofy doesn't. That's not the same thing. I think Prince was funny, like sharp funny,
Or you mean
like he got
accidentally
it.
funny.
Yeah, well,
like
Elvis, to me, Elvis was accidentally funny because he
Yeah.
was just ridiculous. But I think Prince absolutely knew what he was doing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you hear all those, any of those stories where he just fucking, like you see him throw Kim Kardashian off stage.
Get out
or,
the stage.
Yeah. All that stuff where he has that wry wink and a smile
Yeah.
in everything that he does. And he cultivated the image of being this mysterious figure. But then anybody who got close to him said he was a regular dude and he was hilarious. Like he was great.
Did you ever hear that? I think I asked you before to check this out. I think it was at a Comic-Con or one of those things. Kevin Smith, the director, was on stage, and somebody asked him, "We heard you were working with Prince. Can you tell us about it?" And he tells at least a half an hour story of how Prince wanted to work with him, had him come out to Paisley Park, film him, but it never sees the light of day. And it's pretty funny because it does point out how eccentric he truly was with some of the things he was asking him to do. And it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not. If you to listen to it now, it's almost kind of blasphemous because it's kind of making fun of Prince in a way, because he's kind of, Kevin Smith's kind of saying, this all stuff happened and it's weird. It's a lot of weird stuff, but it's pretty funny to.
But I need that. I need him to have the weird mixed in. I told you, I've talked about it on so many different shows that when he came on an American Idol, and he walks through to the stage and he says something and he presents something or introduces something, and then he literally turns around and leaves. Like Simon Cowell never got to meet him. Nobody got to meet him. His limousine pulled up backstage. He got out. He walked through the backstage area to the microphone. He hit the mark on it, did his thing, walked out, got in the car, and left. I mean, that kind of shit is hysterical to me.
The everyone's playing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, George Harrison.
Oh my God,
that is like the most brilliant thing in the world.
Yes.
Here are like rock icons on stage,
Mhm.
and this little dude just tears everything up, throws his guitar, and then leaves.
Takes off.
Leaves those guys hanging like a bar band.
I love the fact that he knew the power he wielded. He wasn't, he wasn't Eddie Vedder, who's like, well, we're just happy to be here and do songs. You know what I mean? And he wasn't like your working class Joe, like a Springsteen was or whatever. He cultivated the image, but also he lived it a little bit, but also kind of winked at it a little bit.
I personally and I don't like that show offy kind of stuff, end zone dances and celebrations in sports, basketball, football, whatever, because it's always done by people that are just marginally good at what they do.
Right.
I like Michael Jordan talking trash because he earned the right to do that. I like Muhammad Ali saying all that crazy shit because he backed it up.
Yeah.
When somebody can do that, I cut him the slack. If at first I was like, with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, I'm thinking, it's kind of a dick move to do that to Petty and Jeff Lynne and Steve Winwood. You just kind of make them look like sidemen. You make them look like a bar band that backed you up. And then I thought, I don't think Prince is malicious about that. I think he just realizes he's the baddest man on the planet, and he's gonna walk off stage. He doesn't care.
And there's nothing wrong with living like you're the baddest man on the planet.
When you are.
If you are the baddest man on the fucking
That's
planet.
what I'm saying. I accept it from him.
Yeah.
I don't
if you're
accept it from a wide receiver who catches a touchdown pass and proceeds to do the splits in the end zone.
Well, I don't accept it from the Goo Goo Dolls. If Johnny Resnick started to walk around and act like an asshole, you'd be like, Johnny Resnick's an asshole. You know what I mean? Who do you think you are, Prince? That's how you say it every single time.
You ain't Prince.
Because Prince would do it, even on Saturday Night Live. I happened to catch the Saturday Night Live this weekend where they ran the tribute show to him, and they showed his performances. And in some of them, he stayed on stage, but in the first one, the first one is great because it's fucking Party Up, and he's wearing a long ankle-length trench coat, and this is like. Yeah. This is Lean and Mean. This is fucking.
That's Dirty Mind, isn't it?
Yeah. It's Dez. It's Andre Simone. It's Bobby Z. It's Dr. Fink, and Lisa. It's Lisa on the keyboards. And Prince in garters.
Yeah.
And a trench coat.
The
And-
garters are the big stockings that came up here, the leg warmers that came all the way up.
They came up, but then he's wearing the garters because he does the spin. He does the Prince spin, and you see the jacket move, and you're just kind of. And I remember seeing it and going, "Is that what is he? Oh my god, what is he doing? Is he wearing lady clothes? I mean, at that age,
lady
yeah."
clothes.
And he's doing that dance and he's spinning around, and in the song, so he does that thing. At the end, he says the refrain. Fight your own war because we don't want to fight no more. I think that's what it is. I forget what it is. But he says it twice with his fist in the air. And then he goes, because we don't want to fight no more. And then he fucking slams the microphone on the ground and the band runs. They run off stage. Not even kidding. The best part is Prince is the first one. He bugs the fuck out. And I think you can see that Dez is on board with it. And everybody else is kind of like, well, I guess we're leaving. And they all run behind him. And again, it's a guy in scrubs. Like, you literally, Prince can get away with having a white dude in scrubs playing his fucking band.
And calling him doctor.
Yeah, that's a doctor. Who's that doctor? Dr. Fink. It's
Dr. Fink.
Yeah, Bobby Z. I can remember Bobby Z's face in my program from 1984 from Purple Rain with the fucking painted face and the little mole on his face. Oh my Christ.
We're still a group, aren't we?
Also, great charisma from those dudes. But yeah, so I mean, he would do that thing where he just bugged the fuck out, and it was fantastic to watch. Like I saw him. Like I said, I saw him 4 times. You know, I mean, I saw him on Purple Rain. 3. Yeah, I saw him in LA 3 times, and he did. We saw him on that residency because he was there for 21 days, and to the point where tickets were super cheap. So we actually sat second row once, and I still have photographs from it where he comes down and he just kind of like looks. So I have that going for me. Prince saw me. Like at one point, Prince looked at me. I mean, he might not think much of it, but I know at some point I had his gaze upon me. So some good things are going to happen at some point in my life.
Our buddy Chris from the UN of Evil sat with him in the airport.
I told Jill that story. Tell that story.
I don't know the whole details. I just remember he met Prince.
Well, the story as I know it is Chris is in Minneapolis Airport and he's at the departures and arrivals screens and he's looking up and he hears and it's the cart. And he turns around and the cart's driving through and it's a cart driver and just Prince sitting in the cart.
Just doesn't walk to it.
He's getting taken through the airport and the guy's like and Chris
he didn't have his own cart?
No, and Chris
Like
just
a
watches
purple
him.
cart?
Nope, Chris just watches him drive by. It's just like,
Hey, dude.
yeah.
I think he said hi to him or something.
He said, "Hey, Prince." But that's the best.
Hi, Prince. Hi, Prince.
Hello. But how great again? That's just those stories of like it would be like seeing Santa Claus or Bambi or something run by, where you're just like, holy Jesus.
So Prince's gaze was upon you.
Yes.
Remember Jamie Foxx had that stand-up special where he says somebody told him don't look into Prince's eyes. Don't ever look into Prince's eyes because he'll get you. He'll get you.
Well, they tell the story on Saturday Night Live. They had Jimmy Fallon host it, and they showed all the musical performances. They showed him, and all the different fucking Prince hairstyles, of course. And again, showing his sense of humor. At one point, he finishes the song. It's Prince and Tamar, and at the end of it, he goes, "Superstar." Prince did that on stage.
He did the
little Mary Catherine Gallagher thing, and then he made this little smirky face, and he did it for himself. He did it for anybody who would get it. That's the thing. He didn't get down on one knee. He just threw his hands in the air. It's how he closed the song. He went "Superstar," and he did it for that fucking reason. It's hysterical
because it made you go. At some point, Prince was sitting around the television and
in his robe and pajamas
and watches TV.
Yep,
and says, "I like that. That's a funny bit.
That's kind of funny." And
could you see sitting around with Prince watching Saturday Night Live and laughing and stuff? That'd be hysterical.
But that's why I love those real stories of him. I mean, there's a story that I just going around about a guy who worked at the Rio when Prince was there in his residency. He calls up at 4:30 in the morning. He wants to have a breakfast party. So he tells the guy, "I want 14 omelets and I want 14 orders of pancakes." So it's 4:30 in the morning, and this guy has to run around and get everybody to make all this shit, and he brings the carts upstairs, and he's the only guy working, so he's trying to unload the food, and fucking Prince just gets up, comes over, and he starts putting plates on the table, like helping the guy, like not even, he's not a pretentious dick. And I think it was Patti LaBelle was there, and Patti LaBelle's like, "Hey, I want an avocado," and Prince just looked at the guy. The guy said, "I just ran." He ran and got an avocado because Patti LaBelle wanted one. Yeah, and he just throws it in the goddamn omelet. Like, those stories to me are hysterical, where you're just like, God damn it. I love them. That's why Charlie Murphy's story is the greatest. For me, it's one of the greatest comedic moments of all time, because the fact that it really happened, the fact that Prince is in a club talking to Eddie Murphy, and then he tells him to go to his house. "Hey, Fruity, get the car."
Assemble your crew.
Assemble your crew. And Chappelle's performance is so good to the point where, but then Prince uses the picture of Chappelle holding the pancakes on a sleeve for like an album or a 45.
Yeah. One of singles he really.
He gets it. He loves it. He's into it because it really fucking happened.
Did you hear his quote about it? Prince's quote?
Go ahead.
He goes, "It's not so much that I'm really good at basketball, it's that Charlie Murphy is
Terrible. Yes.
terrible."
The fact that he acknowledged that it happened is so great.
Game. There's a shirt that says "Game." ... blouses.
How perfect.
Yeah.
And just that and Chappelle looking at because again, and it's hard to you blend them because Chappelle's doing Prince, but you picture Prince doing it because you're like, that's totally not out of the realm of possibility. Prince could do that.
His fruity bullfighting costume.
But just the fact that Prince has a dude give them basketball clothes. There is nothing funnier on earth than fucking assemble your crew. So Charlie Murphy and his boys all have to change. They change clothes. And Prince shows up in the same shit they were wearing at the club. There's that moment
when the smoke is there.
and he's coming out kind of sideways, and it's fucking Mickey Free from Shalimar. Again, that makes the bit. Mickey Free, because again, that's that shit I used to listen to, Midnight Star and all that fucking, all those bands where you just go, holy shit, no parking on the dance floor, and fucking Shalimar, and that's what makes the bit. It's Mickey Free is not a girl, like the way Charlie says it. And then they get down there, and they make them change clothes. And Prince comes down.
You know where you got that? You know where you bought that shirt? And it wasn't from the men's department.
Dude, just that music, that moment, that camera shot. Neil Brennan and Dave Chappelle should be forever hailed as comedic geniuses just for that shot of the backlit Prince and his crew coming in through the smoke, wearing the same clothes from the club. Right when Charlie Murphy goes, they were in the same shit they had on at the club. He's so outraged by it. And then they beat his ass and they serve him fucking pancakes.
He said fruity picks.
Said these fruity picks. Ow! Darling Picky.
Darling Picky.
Oh my God. It is, that sketch is brilliant and people keep posting it and watching it. And I that's one of those things where because people started to make memes right away and stuff and whatever. I get it. That's how people, they're cathartically showing their grief. But holy fuck, dude. That I would watch that sketch forever on a loop. On a fucking loop.
But I was talking about realness, like having somebody like Prince have to go to the airport. He's got to do things that real people do eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, that famous thing where Prince had his passport photo or his driver's license photo is like the best photo ever. Things he's got to do. One
of the most ignominious moments in Prince's life is that the week before he died, he had to land his jet in Moline, Illinois.
Yes, I know.
I've done comedy there, for fuck's sake. I didn't want to go there.
But I saw Prince in, I can't remember if this happened on the Love Sexy tour or the last time I saw him. But both times he was playing in the round, which is great. It's just...
Well, tell your whole story from the time you get the tickets and you go to that night to see him.
Okay. Wait, is my dog barking? Hold on one second.
That might have been Prince.
Sorry, she was barking at something. I don't know. I cured it. So you're asking me about the time I saw him... the last time in the round, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't go to shows. I haven't been to a concert in I don't know how long. And my wife just goes, "Hey, do you want to go to Prince?" I'm like, "No," because I don't want to go anywhere.
Right.
But I'm like, "All right, let's." Yes.
Yes. That you have to go to that one.
We're going to see Prince. I'll have to go outside. I know that, but I'll do it. So we get there. It's at the Allstate Arena, which used to be the Rosemont Horizon. It's like our big stadium when bands come. That's where they play. And he was in the round, and we get there, and they start letting us in, and we got really good tickets, and the stage is set up. And I've said this before. There's nothing to me. I'm kind of a gearhead about bands and stuff. And to see that's a stage, any stage where you're seeing a big band and you see the drums and the chrome and it's all shiny, and I'm like, I started getting pretty hyped, and then I start seeing security kind of walking around and talking to people, and they're getting up. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And it turns out that, it's 10 to 7 and show's supposed to start at 7. They're telling us that Prince is canceling. And we're like, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding
After
me.
you made it out the house and did all that.
Had a babysitter, the whole thing. But I think I told this before. The funny thing is that seeing Prince in your 30s or early 40s is different than when you're in 20s. When you're in your 20s, you throw a hissy fit.
Yeah.
Everybody just got up real politely and left. They figured they had a babysitter, and everybody climbed into their minivans and they left. And my wife and I went out to dinner, and they gave us a rain check and everything. So I'm like, all right, we'll come back and see Prince. And when he did his makeup show, that's probably the greatest concert I think I was ever at. It was like one of those things where I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was just amazing because when he came back for that makeup show, he didn't have an opening band when we were seeing him the first time, the original time when he canceled. But when he came back, the Time opened the show.
Seriously.
Morris Day and Jerome walk to the stage, and people start losing their mind.
Yeah, how do you not just do a
It's-
somersault and go
it's
crazy?
the Time, and they play a full set, and then Prince plays just an unbelievable set. I think he had Maceo Parker. Is that his name?
Yeah,
James
Maceo
Bond?
Parker.
Maceo. So it was like he just knew that it wasn't like he was making up a concert and he says, all right, I got to show up and do the show. He knew that it was a makeup concert that he pulled up. When do you pull the plug 5-10 minutes before showtime? That very rarely ever happens.
Yeah.
And the effort he put forth to make everybody go, that was worth waiting another 2 months for or whatever. But the thing I remember the most, and I don't know if I ever told you this part or not, but it's one of those moments where every time I picture it in my head, it sounds like a Charlie Murphy story. It makes me laugh so hard. When you're in the round, normally you see a band, they're on one side of the stadium. That's because the back of their stage is against the entrance to the locker rooms or the dressing rooms. So when a band comes to stage, it's curtained off. All they have to do is walk through the hallway up to the back of the stage. And that's why when you're ever at a concert, you can always hear the back of the house cheer first, because they can see that somebody's coming to the stage and
Right.
it's that build up.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in the round, that's kind of gone because it takes you a good, 50 yards to walk from.
Sure.
So they had this aisle cordoned off, and when the Time came on, they walked from the dressing room to the stage, and they were lit.
Can you imagine being someone there and seeing Morris Day
Yeah.
walk out and just going, what the fuck? What's happening? What's going on?
So they didn't make any secret that they were walking this distance. They had to get from the stage because they're playing in the round now. They have to walk a ways from the dressing room all the way to the stage, come up the stairs, be on stage. So I'm sitting there watching them. They're done. They walk off the stage, and they got to walk the same long way back to the dressing room. And then meanwhile, Prince's band starts walking to the stage, and they're wheeling stuff in, getting ready for Prince to come on. And I thought to myself, I go, there's no way when Prince plays, he makes an entrance. I mean, the times I've seen him before, he makes an entrance. I saw him in '89. He came in on a car. He was in a car.
Yeah.
Because it was Love Sexy, and it was that I'm gonna drive
Ding, ding, ding,
my
ding,
daddy's
ding, ding,
Thunderbird.
Daddy's Thunderbird.
And in Purple Rain,
A white rad ride 66.
67.
So glam. It's absurd. Going to ride it in the back seat and drive her.
to Tennessee.
Ah,
And then
yes, you will.
God damn it! And in '84, he had those mannequins dressed as him would pop up. And
Yeah.
I even remember that. They would pop up and spin and draw your attention to stage left, stage right. And then he appears.
He's there. Yep.
So I'm like, there's no way Prince is gonna, how is he gonna get on the stage?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and the thought, it's like it was right in front of my face. And I realized it. I figured it all out and I couldn't stop laughing. And Kristen goes, what is so funny? I go, Prince is in a box. And she goes, what? I go, look at those guys down there. And there were road crew moving flight cases on casters to the stage and from the stage, taking equipment from the Time back and moving equipment for Prince to the stage. And I realized that's how he's getting on stage. He's not going to walk the 50 yards from the locker or the dressing room to the stage like the rest of the people, like the normal people, the musicians. He's got to sneak on stage. And the only way they can sneak him on stage so he can just appear is get him to the stage in a crate. So the second I see
So that could be bongos and it could be Prince. You don't know.
So the thought of him in his little outfit climbing into a box like the Amazing Yen from Ocean's 11 and then just giving the thumbs up.
Knocking. He's
Yeah. You all right in there? I'm good. To the stage, Fruity. And then I realized, and I saw a dude pushing a case. Like, when you push a case, you usually have it out, arms extended, you're
Sure.
kind of rolling it. There was a guy who was putting a little bit more of his shoulders into it. I go, I will bet you $1,000 Prince is in that box. And they roll him to the bottom of the stage, and you don't see him anymore. And 10 minutes later, the house lights go down, lights come up. There's Prince.
Yeah.
You never saw him get to the stage.
Goddamn box of Prince.
A crate of Prince.
He should have popped out of it like that puppet he had in Purple Rain. Just like,
What do you music for?
that is fucking astonishing. You got dude, you're a badass if you've got your own set of Teamsters. Seriously.
He was in a box.
Yeah. I mean, what kind of union regulation is there to fucking roll a diminutive genius to a stage?
And then I started thinking he was in there tight, like the Grinch when he got stuck in the chimney. Like he's all curled up in his little suit, and he doesn't want to get his suit wrinkled.
No, you know what? Fuck that. I'm telling you, that's a magic box. And if you would have looked inside, it would have been, there's like fucking
false.
Women feeding him grapes. I mean, there's just like a whole bunch of shit. It's like a whole universe.
Oh yeah, it's
just
like giant. Once you look into it, it's
Yeah, it's like a Prince ant farm. And he's just fucking got ladies in there giving him grapes, and there's fucking people
Fanning
just
him?
oh my God, dude. Of course.
No, I think of he's sitting in there crisscross applesauce, just sitting there Indian style, just
And he's fucking me.
la 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 superstar.
And it's funny you talk about
Because then he had to get out of the box.
Yeah,
Somebody
of
had
course
to
he
help
did.
him out the box.
They had to pop the top, and he's got to trust these motherfuckers to get him out of the box.
And they pick him up by the shoulders, and his legs are still folded. Ooh.
They put him down like a genie.
Like Eddie Murphy at the beginning of Trading Places. I have legs.
Fucking rolls up in a box, dude. If you got Teamsters
Come
on
on.
call, you're an important man.
That put me in the best mood of all time before
That's
the
the
show.
best.
Is because I knew he got to this. I knew he got to the stage in a box.
And he was fucking flawless, was he not?
That is the best band I've ever seen play together, regardless of the genre of music. You talk about seeing a really good band like Van Halen, they're in the pocket, and you can tell when they're in the pocket. His band is the tightest group. I couldn't believe how good they were.
He's at the forefront of it.
Yes.
He is the constant, because in every tour, like I said, I saw him different nights with different people. Sheila E. played with him in LA, and I saw him in '84. And every single performance was fucking whipcord tight and fucking phenomenal. And we talk about, you said how hard it is to do his voice, his falsetto to deep to whatever. He did it live flawlessly. Because you'll see people and they kind of half-ass it, or they'll go, "Hey, you sang," or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And when I saw those Saturday Night Live performances, like I said, where he's spinning around in the trench coat and he runs away, and then they showed a performance from Graffiti Bridge, a performance from Batman, a performance from 3121. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. His guitar work was impeccable. And like I said, in 2 or 3 of the songs, he just make that noise.
That's one of his instruments he can play.
Exactly, he plays over the mouth, and always with different musicians. He had that all female band at the end, and then also he had the Revolution, and then he's got the band
New Power Generation.
the New Power Generation, and always so tight, so in the pocket, and so fucking ready on it. He could literally look at them. You would see when I saw him live in
like
Los
James
Angeles.
Brown.
Yeah, Sheila E. She's playing, and he would give her all this space to do stuff, but then he'd point, and she knew, and he would go here, we'd go there, and he did that break in the middle where it was just him and the piano. Yeah. And he would play the intro to something, and you'd lose your mind because he'd just play a little bit of it, and then he'd stand up and he'd go, not tonight. Just so, and that's why I wanted to see him on this piano and the microphone tour. If you get a chance, I don't know if you've been, go look at the set lists from what he was playing. Yeah. I just saw it was 6 weeks ago, I think, when he did the first one at Paisley Park, and they said it was just him in his studio with candles and purple lights, and they showed the set list, and I went, oh my Christ, like I couldn't believe what he was doing. And then he went to Toronto and he did all these different encores. He did all these different songs, and he was doing these hit and run shows, and he was flawless. He was perfect. There's clips now. Obviously, people are putting all these different clips up. There's a clip where he did a VH1 Unplugged set, and it's just him. It's like a 9-minute clip.
With a guitar?
Yes, and he's in the black suit.
I think I saw part of that. Yeah.
And he's just got the call and response with the audience. Yeah. I think. I can't remember what song it is, but
is it Forever in My Life?
No, he does like Soft and Wet or something, and he does it, and the crowd knows the words. That's how tight it is, and all the women are singing with him, and he's looking at him, he's going, and he's like shaking his head, and it's just him and an acoustic, And you're going, oh my God, he owns the room. He owns everybody. He owns the world. He owns life. I can't even imagine. Like I said, I barely have a fingernail in this business, and I can do what I can do, and I try to do it the best I possibly can. But to see a guy who would roll out of bed and be a genius all the time, and who could not suppress that genius and just had to, but didn't ever get consumed by it. Like, he might have been weird and eccentric and done a lot of strange things, but holy fuck.
But you can't be eccentric
unless you have a reason to be.
Yes.
I mean,
Otherwise, you're just weird.
Yeah, you're a homeless dude. You know what I mean? But if you've got chops and gravitas and talent and brilliance, you can get away with doing whatever you want to do. And he didn't use his powers for evil. He used his powers for good. Like I said, he would wink at stuff. He'd have a wry smile. And even though we made him into this unicorn, he was still accessible, and he was still someone that everyone could look at and just go, wow, he's different, he's weird, he's this, he's that. But at the same time, you could all appreciate what he did.
You can't say he sucked.
Never.
You know, you can say Michael Jackson sucked. If you don't like his, that type of music, Michael Jackson music, whatever.
Yeah.
You could even say David Bowie sucked if you didn't like, but how can, he's all over the place.
Sign of the times. He makes 1999, and he makes Purple Rain, and then Around the World in a Day.
Which, when it came out, I think a lot of people were like,
they
hey,
were mad.
What is this?
Yeah.
This isn't Purple Rain again.
I heard Bob Wall play Raspberry Beret. It was on GCI before the album came out. And even I go, well, that's just 3 minutes of candy. I mean, that was fucking awesome. But at the same time, I go, but that doesn't sound anything like what he just did, because it wasn't rocking. But as you look at it now, you just go, it's literally, it might be the perfect pop song, but it is a perfect pop song, a perfect, if not the perfect, and he could say dumb shit and get away with it. The Horses Wonder Who You Are? What the fuck is that? Peter Paul's Almond Joy? I mean, again, those are silly things where you just go, what does that
He wrote a
even mean?
Christmas song about his girlfriend died.
What, did he really?
You never heard Another Lonely Christmas?
Well, I've heard it, but I didn't know that's what it was
about his girlfriend dying from the pneumonia. Looks like I have another lonely Christmas.
That's beautiful.
I mean,
but that's what I
get
mean.
away with doing that,
because in the context of thunder's down high where the lightning seeds, but make you feel like a movie star. They say the first time ain't the greatest, but if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't change a stroke, because baby, I'm the most. When a girl is fine and she walks in, dude, are you kidding me? Then. Dude,
when I heard that album, I bought the cassette the day it came out. I was in my first year of art school. Yeah. Popped it in and I listened to it and I loved it. And I go, you know what this is? This is his take on the Beatles.
Yeah.
It had a Sgt. Pepper kind of thing to it. And it made me go.
Now, when you heard that and said it?
Yes.
And that's even before the video. Because then you see the video and you go, oh my God, I was so right.
Yes, I did. Because I was telling the other guys, because the people I went to art school with were all into, I don't even know what you would call it, techno dance.
Right.
Music for art. It's flippy, freaky art students.
Sure.
They're listening to weird shit. And I had Prince and I was like, I really liked it. I thought, and I said, if you were to take Purple Rain and Around the World in a Day and play them one after the other, you would never know that those albums came out one after the other. It's like going from when the Beatles did, like say Rubber Soul, and then Sgt. Pepper. You're like, whoa, what happened in that time frame between like Revolver and Sgt. Pepper? You guys must have smoked a lot of dope. Well, there is a giant misdirection into another way, and that's what I thought Around the World in a Day was. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Right, but also if you listen to For You and then you listen to Dirty Mind, you can do the same thing. You're like, what the fuck happened to this guy? This guy got laid a lot. Jesus Christ.
Pick something and stick with it, man.
But don't at all.
I know.
Isn't it great?
That's what I've taken through this whole thing, is that it's made me go, you got to stop worrying about how you're perceived and stop worrying about whether or not people are going to like this, whatever, this painting or this piece of music I did, taking it as a personal thing. Be Prince.
Yeah.
If you're a mailman, be Prince. If you're an accountant, be Prince of the accountants. Be Prince in what you do. Do what you do. And don't, if you want to wear an eye patch, wear an eye patch.
Yeah. Have swagger and don't care.
And if you want to have a cape, wear a cape.
Yeah.
You can wear a cape. You can have a scepter.
I use language for a living. I've used it for a long time. And just in the context of of language. Seemed that I was busy doing something close to nothing, not different than the day before. And that's when I saw her. Ooh, I saw her. She walked in through the outdoor. You're like, oh my God. Oh, if I wrote that, I would want everyone to blow me. Like I would literally just be like, do you see what a genius I am? Just for that line. And then the rest of the song, like I said, it's the perfect pop song. It's perfect.
But that's where Prince and you differ. Prince doesn't say,
I'm done.
Look how good this is. Blow me.
I'm done.
I finished that verse.
Yeah.
And move on.
Prince never says I'm done.
Yeah.
I settle. I say I'm done. And I'm not comparing me to him at all. I'm just saying as an artist or an entertainer, I've often gone, oh my God, I can't get any better than that. And he never thought that. He just created and moved forward.
And it didn't seem to me like he ever did something and goes, man, wait till they hear this shit. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh, he did. He fucking did. He might had that because he had that swagger and he had balls and he knew.
Okay, after the fact, but while he was doing it and while he was in the moment of doing it, he wasn't thinking in terms of, this is going to get me blown. You know what I mean?
I understand. He did it because he had to do it, and he did it because he was great at it.
And when you sit back and you go, holy shit, I just did that. That's when you go, I can't wait till they get a load of me.
There's exactly. There's a clip of him doing a sound check in Europe, outdoors
when
on
he's
the
playing
piano.
Summertime.
Yes,
that blew me away on so many levels because I always thought of him as. I mean, I knew he could play. What is it? 30 instruments?
Yeah.
What was it?
I think it's 25 and Roof of Mouth is 26.
Yeah, 26. I always thought of him as a guitar player first, and that everything else became things he needed to learn. He learned, he could play. You saw him play the piano a little bit in Purple Rain, but when I saw him play the piano at that sound check, and I realized he's not a guy that's just accompanying himself on piano.
No.
He's playing jazz style piano on I think it's Summertime.
Yeah.
Gershwin's Summertime. And then he's telling the band what key he's in, and then he's still vamping in the chords he's using. And I went, God damn, he wasn't just a keyboard player like a synthesizer. He's a pianist.
Yes.
And a pretty good one in that context.
And also in the larger scheme of it, he was in charge. He was absolutely in charge. Like you said, he's telling them what key I'm in. He's going here. And when I saw him with large bands, he'd point at a bass player or guitar player and he'd give him the fist and he'd do this. And then when they all booked, on those shows in LA, it was just him and the piano. And I think that's what led to him wanting to do the piano on the microphone tour, because he would just play snippets of songs and the whole crowd would sing them all. They would just, he was joy. He was absolute joy all the time. For me.
Yeah. It's like he had this thing and it had to get out. And he had no reservations about it. It's out. I got to do this. It just leaked out of him. And that's something that I take as a personal inspiration.
Well, I saw him live 4 times, and each time fantastic. Again, like I said, he was someone who brought what he did in the studio to the stage and made it better. A lot of guys just they create in the studio, and then on stage they kind of don't know what they're doing, or they kind of step on their own dick. He was always technically perfect, as well as being willing to improvise. I saw him he did, is it Hollywood Swingin'? Is that the Kool and the Gang song? Is that the song Hollywood Swingin'? Dun, dun, dun. He closed with that in LA, and he'd do 13-minute versions of it. So, and he's just running around and telling the crowd to sing. I mean, just an astonishingly technically perfect, but also improvising and having a great time and playing whatever he fucking wanted and constantly in control. So I told a story on this show once about the first time I ever saw him, and Dave and I have had a little back and forth on this. He doesn't think I need to include this. I, of course, kitchen sink the shit out of everything, so I'm including it.
Even the part that we talked about.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, when the recorder wasn't on?
Well, because now I'm having second thoughts about including this, but I kind of want to include it.
Well, it's your show. You do what you want. My point is that your initial plan for this was really a good idea, and that was to take new content, which this is, and wrap it around old things like the bits we did and the songs that we did and all that stuff. But then you wanted to put a clip from an old show in, and I'm like, when you and I get on the microphone and talking about Prince, you're already talking a good hour, a couple hours of our own new material. Do you really want to stick an old story in there? It's something that fits.
It's funny. As we talk now, I don't know if it fits the context of the tribute, because it talks about me wanting to go, but also then it segues into the car and the date and all that other stuff.
When you and Jeff went.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
it's entirely up to you.
I know.
Because now if people wanted to hear it, they're going to be mad at me. I talked you out of it.
Well, no, it's not, no, it's in the context of us talking, like, because that was my plan in the beginning. But as we've talked, you know, we've celebrated and we've talked about him. And I don't know if throwing it back, if I do enough justice to him in that story to include it in a show that's about him, because that makes it more about me when I include that chunk of the story.
I don't know. I really, it's your call. I just know that you know, we didn't feel this way. We didn't do a Bowie tribute show. You didn't do a Bowie tribute show.
No, but I threw in 30 titles of his songs, just fucking around.
I'm just saying, anybody that's listened to Mike over the past years knows how much Prince was in the show. He's all over the show. You could play a segment from that episode you're talking about where you and Jeff saw him, but you know, there's also times we talked about him in a different context. I know I've drawn at least 3 or 4 pictures that all have a Prince theme to them. I know I drew Prince. I know I drew you as the cover of Love Sexy. I drew you as the puppet, as Prince's puppet.
That picture. I remember seeing, you know what? I'll tell you what. You've done amazing artwork for the show, but I remember when that Prince one came in.
Your little head's coming out of the
But just those are the moments where you go, this completes what I wanted to say. This completes everything I was trying to convey. This, when we work in concert, it makes this show what I want it to be.
You want to ride your motorcycle.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to throw that chunk in here. I just no, I'm being serious. I don't, you know, if I'll tell you what, if people want it, you can write me and I'll fucking throw it out there or go buy your fucking whatever. But what I do want to do is I want to get back to Prince and another song that you did interpreting Prince's music.
It was 7:45, we were all in line. The Greek teacher, Miss Kathleen. First was Kevin, then came Lucy, third in line was me. All of us were ordinary compared to Cynthia Rose. She always stood at the back of the line with a smile beneath her nose. Her favorite number was 20, and every single day, if you asked her what she had for breakfast, this is what she'd say: starfish and coffee, a maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds, a tangerine with a side order of ham. If you set your mind free, baby, maybe you understand. Starfish and coffee, a maple syrup and jam. Cynthia wore the prettiest dress with different color socks. Sometimes I wondered if the mates were in her lunchbox. Me and Lucy opened it when Cynthia wasn't around. Lucy cried, I almost died. You know what we found? Starfish and coffee, a maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds, a tangerine with a side order of ham. If you set your mind free, baby, maybe you understand. Starfish and coffee, a maple syrup and jam. Oh. Starfish and coffee. Cynthia had a happy face, just like the one she draws on every wall in every school. But it's alright, it's for a worthy cause. Go on, Cynthia. I keep singing starfish and coffee, a maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds, a tangerine with a side order of ham. If you set your mind free, baby, maybe you understand. Starfish and coffee, a maple syrup and jam. Oh, la, 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 la. Mhm. La, 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 la. Oh, la, 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 la. Head full of bees. Head full of bees. Head full of bees. Is it possible Mike may have ADD? Head full of bees. Was he talking about Dark Knight or a face-eating zombie? Head full of
All right, so I may have played that story. I don't know. I'm not sure because Dave and I, because I'm not home and I'm at a disadvantage because all of my archives are there, so I can't listen to the show to hear where the chunks would go and if it did Prince justice. I got no idea. So you may have just heard another from an old show, or we may have just heard the brilliance of Starfish and Coffee by my friend David Hernandez, which is off of Sign of the Times, which I started to reference. When we were talking, he made 1999. He made Around the World in a Day. He made, and then
he made Parade.
Yeah, for Under the Cherry Moon. But then, fucking dude, when Sign of the Times comes out, he comes back huge. He comes back monsters. And also then when
that's a double album too, man, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm a Van Halen guy, you know that, and I mean, the music I love, Guns N' Roses, all those bands, and I'm in all of my life. If you were to take in total all of the music, Kiss and everybody that I've played, I don't think I've ever played 2 songs off the same album back to back more than I've played Hot Thing and Forever in my life, or in your life, in my.
There comes a time
in every man's life he gets tired of fooling around. I need you to carry me there. What are we doing? I thought we harmonized pretty good on that one line. I thought we did okay.
That wasn't harmony. That's unison. Big difference.
Juggling hearts.
You want harmony?
Ring circus. No, because I just heard myself say circus and it was terrible.
Hot thing.
Barely 21.
Hot thing.
Looking for big fun.
Hot thing.
What's your fantasy?
Hot thing.
Don't you want to play with me? That fucking weird keyboard. Dude, it sounded like a sitar, but it wasn't.
Shut up already.
Damn. Tell me who in this house know about the quake.
Said we do.
Really?
Really?
Really? If you know how to party, say yeah. Dude, that album is fucking astonishing.
Ridiculous.
Black days, stormy nights.
I just know how to play that song. That's a good song to play.
Dude. Sign of the Times is so good.
It messes with your mind.
Good. You got the look.
Slamming.
The World Series of Love? Boys versus girls?
Slamming.
Slamming.
Charlie Murphy.
You walked in. I looked up. I've never seen a pretty girl look so tough. And you know what I love too is when he goes, baby, and then she needs to goes, baby. Just the way she says it, dude, it's all perfect.
Dude, I even love the Batman soundtrack.
I use words for a living, David.
Yes.
Color you peach and black, color me taken aback. How fucking great is that? Crucial.
I think I
want you. And also, there's that part where there's that beat, and then he goes, I can't do his scream. You know that scream? Dude.
I don't know that scream.
Yeah.
So you're saying Prince was a pterodactyl at one time?
Holy shit, dude. He fucking crushed it. That's my fake Prince pterodactyl voice. I got it. You know what I say about
timeless.
That's what I say about being a fake Prince pterodactyl?
What?
It's a living. So
you talking about the Darling Nikki scream? Like,
well, that's
like
crazy.
that?
No, in You've Got the Look, there's this thing where she's like, baby, I think I want you. Boom, and then it's just, you got the look. It's just, I can't even do it, dude.
I don't even know what you're trying to do. Isn't that the sound Large Marge made in Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Oh no, but it's all I got to offer.
That was awesome.
It's because she screams, but then he screams right afterwards. It's almost like he sounds like Mothra. I mean, I can't even describe it. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Did Prince invent the goose call? You just take credit for it? Hey, you got the look.
You got the look. You got the look. Trying to tell me cooking. And I look. Crucial.
I think I want you.
Slamming.
Dude, I'm bleeding. All right, so just and then it's just I forget. I got to say this to a listener. I want to say it was my friend Derek, but I don't remember exactly who it was.
Then don't say Derek.
Well, I'm just because I wanted to guess.
Could have been John.
There's another fuck. When I talked about Prince, someone wrote me and they were also kind of like, yeah, I also love Prince. And you know, would you want some Prince stuff that I have? And I was kind of like, yeah. And all of a sudden, a box arrives, and
Is
these
Prince in the box? What's in the box?
oh, what's in the box? This person sent me, I think, 30 Prince bootlegs.
Dang.
Called like Minneapolis Purple Genius and all these, and their outtakes and they're these rehearsal tapes. I don't know where they came from. Some of them are live, some of them are not. So I want to thank of course, I should name check the listener, but I don't recall exactly who it was because it was years ago. I'm guessing, I thought, and also here's another thing. I met this listener at a show, and is this just a white guy, just like a nondescript white guy, like, you know, because that's if that doesn't sum up everything we've been talking about, it was just this guy who recognized genius and was touched by it and went, I got to get everything this guy has, and then shared it with me and just went, I know you love him just like I love him, so here, take all of these.
Did you see Bruce Springsteen open the concert with Purple Rain?
I didn't get to see it yet, but I know he did it because when he did Take It Easy for Glenn Frey, and then he did Heroes for Bowie. So I have not seen the Purple Rain one yet.
It's pretty cool because you can tell he didn't just like scramble around that morning and learn it. Like obviously they learned it like a band would learn it, the arrangement, but he already knew the song.
Right.
You could just tell that he knew that music. It wasn't like he was capitalizing on the moment and just trying to figure out a way to work something in from Prince. He knew that when they played that song, you could tell he knew that's what that song was.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes in these tribute, I was just watching a thing. They had a celebration of George Harrison. It was put on by his kid Danny, and Ann Wilson was on. They had a few big names, but you could see them singing and looking down at the same time because they're reading the words on the teleprompter because they barely know the lyrics.
Right.
You can always kind of tell when somebody's kind of just trying to get through the song. When Springsteen does Purple Rain, you can tell he knew what that song was, and it was pretty cool.
Well, it's a signpost. You know what I mean? Really, in rock and in soul music. I mean, it's just brilliance. It's everything he did was astonishing.
Well, the Christmas song, you might want to listen to that.
Incorrect.
Looks like another lonely Christmas.
Well, on the hits, the B-sides, and everything. You know, because one of my favorite songs. Well, She's Always in My Hair, La La La, He. Those are great songs. But dude, and I've talked about it on the show. 17 Days is one of my favorite. It's top 5 Prince songs for me.
Really?
It's just because the you know, it's the Prince drum sound, that sound that he had. You know, here I sit in my lonely room, and again, it's just it's effortless. It sounds like shimmering rain. I mean, it is so goddamn great. It's everything that
he knew
you
how
want.
to make records.
Yes, he knew how to take 4 minutes and change your life.
Yeah.
And he could also take 40 minutes and change your life. He could take one song and make it 40 minutes and make you go, fuck, I've never heard that way again, but I never want to hear it a different way, because that was astonishing.
They just VH1 has been playing all the videos, and they played the one that came out in '84, right after Purple Rain broke. It's the live version of Baby I'm a Star.
Yeah.
And it's a good 10-minute version of this song, and he James Browns it at the end, and it's remarkable. It's just remarkable. He's got the horns going. His band is completely in tune with what he's doing because he keeps dancing. He's dancing his ass off, and then he puts his arm up and goes, and they stop. Bah, good God, bah, and they start again. So everything's based on that cue. So you have to have your shit wired tight to play with that guy, just like you had to do with James Brown. Otherwise, James Brown would fuck you up if you messed up. I don't know if Prince actually got in people's asses. But that makes me think of another thing. Think of all the musicians he's worked with. Does he fire them? Or are they signed to contracts to play a certain amount? Because he got rid of the Revolution, then he was just Prince, and then he had the new Power Generation. Like, you see these interviews with musicians, you know, and at the bottom it'll say so-and-so played with Prince from 1983 to 1992.
Yeah.
He's like, kind of like Santana. It's like every time you see him, he's got a different band, he's got a different singer.
Well,
Does Prince fire these people? I mean, is it amicable? I mean, is it...
well, they never see it coming. They just wake up and there's a dove's head in their bed.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So... ah, ah, ah. I need to ride to the airport. Prince needs to hear bad news immediately. Any stupid thing from a movie.
Prince is the Godfather.
Yeah, any stupid thing from any movie, you would think that Prince is actually the guy. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know?
Bonacera. Why have you treated me so disrespectfully? If you'd come to me in friendship.
So I need to put the echo on for that.
I wonder if there was an orange in his mouth in the elevator.
What if they found him and he's holding 2 giant tomato
Those
vines?
yeah, and he's got that pesticide thing.
That's so sad, though. I get back to that. I said it before about him dying in an elevator. It's just, that's weird, man. Think about how weird that is. You know what else is weird?
Well,
They said he was
but
alone.
seriously,
Yeah.
him dying is weird. I'm not even kidding. Like I told you when I heard it, it didn't make any sense because I never. Because when Michael Jackson died, it hit me hard because I've told that story. I was in the car,
Yeah.
and it came up on the XM screen. It said Michael Jackson is dead, and I remember going, "Holy fuck!" But then he went,
Yeah.
and that kind of makes sense. Did a kindergarten class finally catch up to him and stab him to death? I mean, seriously, what happened? I don't know.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Well, I mean, you didn't doubt.
It was shocking. It was surreal, but then it was like, yeah.
You went, yeah, this doesn't,
know.
Kurt Cobain, you know what I mean? You're just kind of like, wow, that's prime of the life and all that. But also, this is a guy who looked like he was going to eat a lead salad any fucking time. You know what I mean? He just, you weren't sure. You never know. It's always a shame. It's always a tragedy. But Prince for me was an unbelievable surprise. Like I never even contemplated it. He's on the road. He's doing shows.
I took him for granted.
Absolutely.
Because you joked with me a while back. You said, look at the set list from this. How much would you pay to go see Prince at this show? And I sarcastically replied, $49.95, meaning that whatever the ticket cost would be, I'll pay for it. I was just trying to be a jerk. I was being funny.
Yeah.
But honestly, I haven't listened to the newer stuff because I always knew there was going to be more new stuff, and sooner or later, one of those things was going to catch me, just like it always did.
Right.
And I listened to. I thought, getting back to the older albums, Parade, it was good. It's not one of my favorite albums. It's good. It's got some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, well, maybe Prince is 4th or 5th down my playlist now. He's not the main cassette I'm going to. Back
Right.
when we had Walkmans and stuff. But then, Sign of the Times, he's back up there again. So I knew it was like I took it for granted. Oh, Prince will always be there. He's going to come up with something crazy shit sooner or later. And he's
on all of my playlists.
Yes.
He always comes up. I'm on a plane. I'm anywhere. I'm on the gym. He always will come up. And I like deep cuts. I like a lot of the stuff that people might not listen to or whatever. Like, when you hear, and again, this is obviously not an example of that, but I Want to Be Your Lover and Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad. Those those songs are perfect. They are perfect songs.
And that's from like when he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
That's early stuff.
And those come up and you go, oh, Jesus Christ, there's perfection. You know what else is perfect? And I just heard it again because again, they're playing all the tributes and they're playing stuff. Pop Life.
Yep.
Like I never, it's just one of those things where it came out and I'm like, that's a great Prince song. But then when you hear it again, but then you hear it and you just go, oh my God, how have I not put this on all my playlists? I need to hear this more and more.
Yeah. There's an album. I have the Batman. Remember? That '89 Batman movie. I remember being so hyped for that thing because it was going to be Batman and Nicholson. It was going to be dark. It wasn't going to be Adam West. It was going to be awesome. And then to find out there was a Prince soundtrack.
Yeah. And
then you heard that soundtrack. That soundtrack is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And again, he may have been prolific, but he was never just churning content out. Because he imagine how hard he worked on that Batman thing because he knew the hype that was going to come with it and how it was going to go hand in hand. But at the same time, he's also like, well, I'm just doing what I always do.
Yeah, it's like I say, he has this thing that has to be released. You can't put a stopper on it. It's got to come out. And it's just amazing to me to see somebody like that. To know that somebody like that was on this earth while we were here.
The shift in Bat Dance when it goes
to the Vicky Vale, to the singing.
Yeah. And it did Vicky Vale. Vicky Vale. I like Batman. And you're just like, oh my God.
No.
And where. is the Batman. You're just like, oh my God, dude. And that's why I say anything he ever produced, how did he not just sit back and just go, yeah, I'm fucking Prince. I'm the man. So of course he would walk into places and walk the fuck out. And of course he would always break out left and just get because he never had to hang around.
Do you remember he was on, there was some award show. I can't remember what it was. And everybody came out for like a curtain call at the end, and they were singing the Foreigner song, I Want to Know What Love Is. It was a Diana Ross, and they handed him the mic, and he wouldn't sing. He had a lollipop in his mouth. And everybody was saying, what a dick move. Because I think they were walking. Maybe I'm misremembering this, but I remember it was like they all. And you could tell he didn't want to be up there.
Yeah,
you know.
There's all these clips you can find now and again. You're just marinating in them the last few days. There's a clip where Q-Tip is doing Vibrant Thing on stage. I forget what year it was. You know that song Vibrant Thing? Dude, it's fucking amazing. Q-Tip's amazing, but it's a vibrant thing. Vibrant thing. And Prince, Q-Tip doesn't know. Prince comes up on stage to join him and jam, and you just the look on Q-Tip's face, dude. It's so worth finding that clip.
Now I got to play this thing right. That would be what I would think if Prince ever came up. I mean, damn! Now I got to play everything right. I can't fuck up.
But you know what? If you were an artist and Prince wanted to come join you,
yeah,
and wouldn't you in your head just go, dude, I must be funky. Like I got to be seriously funky. How great is it that he just showed up?
I just realized I'm funky.
Because you got to be honored that he shows up to do that. You know, you know what? One of the things I'm so mad about was in 2006 when the Bears made the Super Bowl. I was going to go, because at the time I was writing on a show and I wanted to. I was looking for tickets, and Bianucci and I were going to go, and I was looking for. He's like, I can't find anything for less than $1,800, and I kind of let him talk me out of it because I would have gone because I'm stupid. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'll do it. I don't fucking care. He's like, yeah, but then we got to fly there. We're going to get rooms in Miami. I'm like, Prince is playing the fucking halftime show. Like literally, I cared that the Bears were in the Super Bowl and that Magic doesn't come along. But dude, Prince was doing the halftime show. I had to be in the fucking building. It was like when I said the one Super Bowl I did go to, Kiss played at the pregame show, and I'm like, this is chemistry. I was gonna say chemistry. it was Kismet and symmetry.
Breathe, man.
So to see fucking, well, dude, if you're not listening to the show, I don't breathe. But I wanted to be there for Prince, and then I wasn't there, and then you watch it. And it is, bar none, like they should have shut down the halftime show after he did it because you were never going to be better than that. You were never going to top it.
I actually didn't enjoy it as much as I should have because of the fact that the Bears were in the Super Bowl. I'm serious. I was so pent up and nervous about the game that I couldn't just relax and watch Prince and go, this is the best thing ever, because I'm like, God damn it, are they going to stop Peyton Manning in a second? You know, that's how it really was, and I regret
fucking
it.
Grossman.
I know, I regret it. I'm like, I should have just shut it down and watched the halftime show and said, screw the Bears.
Well, watch it now because everybody's been reposting it, and you just watch it and you're just going, oh yeah, of course, that's more brilliance that he did. That he just set the bar so high with everything that he did, and you know, I don't know if I played the other story or not, or if I referenced this, but. You know, when I saw Purple Rain, I remember just sitting there waiting for it to happen and waiting for it to start and just looking around, and there was that artwork everywhere and there was the purple hanging. And, but the thing I loved was they played that interstitial music. You know, when you go to concerts, they'll play like, you know, Kiss played The Who and everybody plays music while you're just sitting there waiting for the show to start. I saw Barry Manilow and they were playing these, like they were playing contemporary songs like Uptown Funk and Taylor Swift. And I was like, well, actually, I thought that was kind of smart because it's like, you don't want to play fucking Perry Como because you want to get the audience kind of tuned up.
You want to trick them.
Yeah, a little bit. But when Prince did it, he played the score of Purple Rain, which I don't know if it's ever been released, but I can still hear it.
Just, yeah.
That and it's just that soft
I know.
music that's in the background when he's like walking from one, you know, the club to another, and it's just that again, it's the interstitial score background music from Purple Rain. But I remember just getting so geeked up and tuned up to see him just from hearing that music, waiting for him to come out.
Yeah.
And that was just this, again, like I said, just the throwaway music from the movie, but it just built the anticipation so much more highly for me being in the audience. And I remember I cried at that show. I remember at the end of it when the streamers are coming down and then all the purple confetti.
Yeah, but you cry at all shows.
Not all shows.
Did you cry at Barry Manilow?
Well, yeah, because Prince had died that day.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Barry Manilow was fucking good. I'll argue with you, but I mean, I don't cry at all shows. Well, I mean, that's not even like a manly thing. I'm just like, don't diminish the moment that I had there.
Yeah, but
by saying I do it
have all these moments.
Well, yeah, because I'm kind of in tune and in touch with emotions.
I'm not
and
making fun
kind
of you crying. I'm just making fun of you crying.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, for me, it was I can still see myself almost out of body watching myself look up at the streamers while the songs are playing. And like you said, he's doing Baby I'm a Star, and he does Purple Rain at the end, and you're overwhelmed by it. At least I was.
No, I in all honesty, I know what you mean, because I said earlier that he's the only one I identified with. I might have been influenced by other people. I might have modeled because as an artist, as a visual artist, painter, whatever. I went through this thing, and all kids do it in high school, where they want to be their favorite artist. My favorite artist was Frank Frazetta, and what all kids do is they end up copying Frazetta, trying to paint like him, trying to literally copy his paintings. And you don't understand at that age that, that's kind of plagiarism. You don't really do that. That's not how you pay tribute. And I had an art teacher that told me, what's the use in learning how to paint like Frazetta and painting Frazetta paintings in that style? There's already Frazetta. What's the point of doing that? You're not going to accomplish anything. He goes, it's okay. You have to learn the difference between copying somebody and taking an influence. And I learned it with the visual media, art, painting, drawing. I am heavily influenced by Frazetta, but I don't paint like him. I just try to be Frazetta-esque in what I do. It's a different style. I do watercolors. I do, people would criticize him and say, oh, Frazetta's good for this, but he doesn't really know his anatomy, and he distorts things, and he's not drawing true human form. And everybody, and the other people that are illustrators, not fine artists, would go, the point is, he's capturing a moment. He's doing something, and it doesn't matter if the arm muscles are the wrong way, or he's got one too many abs, or whatever the warrior painting is. What is it? The whole thing is what you should be looking at. So I decided with your show, I was going to try to capture one moment in a frame, and that's what became the show art. And that's a Frazetta thing, telling a story with one paint. So I'm not painting like Frazetta. I just used his influence to form my own thing. And then with Prince, that's why I identified him. I sat there, I think it was in the Love Sexy tour, and I realized this guy does everything. I want to do everything. And I'm going to try to do everything. I know I'll never reach that level, but think of what could happen if I tried,
Yeah, and you work at the peak of your powers with what you have to offer.
So getting back to earlier, I think you played the song from the Heroes album. It's a cover of Girls and Boys. I'm not a drummer. I could never make a living as a drummer, but for that 3.5 minutes or whatever, I'm playing the drums, and that's the best I can do at that moment. And I felt better doing that than programming my drum machine or getting a drummer to come down and lay that track down, because it was all me. It's all me. And there's nothing I can't even tell you somebody else that would affected me like that. That's Prince. That's me being my version of Prince. Like I said earlier about, if you're a male, be Prince. Be Prince. If you're work at the deli, be the best Prince guy you can be at the deli.
I do know. Be Prince. That's what everybody should ascribe to. If only it were that easy.
Whoa. Yeah.
It's funny, when we were talking, I told you when I first heard the news, it hit me in the same way that it did when my brother looked at me and said that my father was dead. And you kind of were like, really? And I get that. But, in reality, I knew Prince longer than I knew my father. I knew my dad 13 years. I've known Prince over 30. And he was always with me. Everywhere I went, I referenced that earlier, whether in real life or in a concert or on television or on a plane or in the gym or just in my house, he was with me, and I always chose to be with him. So I didn't know what to do. when I heard. I mean, I didn't know how to process it because there were people around and I didn't want to completely go to pieces. And once finally the house was kind of cleared out and I was there with Jill and she kept saying, "Are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right?" And I'd say, "Yeah, I'm a little shaken up about Prince." And she'd kind of give me this look and I'd say, "Well, you kind of don't understand. You know, I mean, again, he's always been there for over 30 years. He's been in my life." So she went to get a shower before we went to the concert. And then when she got out, I had sat down and I didn't play his music all day. I couldn't. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if it was right. And I wasn't in the celebration mode. And people were always like, "Oh, you should celebrate his life." And he would want that. I don't know what he would want, but I knew in that moment what I couldn't do and I couldn't listen to him. But finally, after a couple hours, I was kind of by myself and I sat down. I said, "I got to write something." And I played his music. I played 17 Days. I played Joy and Repetition. I played Black Sweat. I played Hot Thing, and I played Forever in My Life. I played The Beautiful Ones. And then I played Hot Thing, and I played Forever in My Life again. And I wrote, and I cried. And it's funny, there's one of those stories floating around about Prince where he said he hadn't cried since his father kicked him out of the house. He said he cried for 2 hours in a phone booth and he'd never cried again. As we all know from this show, I can't make that claim. But I wrote and I listened to him and I cried. And there was a passage in Forever of My Life, in my life that I actually wrote in what I was writing. And it's, "There comes a road in every man's journey that he's afraid to walk on his own. I'm here to tell you that I'm at that road and I'd rather walk it with you than walk it alone." And look, I didn't know Prince. But I don't think I'll ever have to walk alone because he's always going to be there. I'd rather walk it with you than walk it alone. Well, I'd rather walk it with Prince than walk it alone. I'll never have to be alone as long as I have his music and I have his memories and I have this show and I have this song that Dave has contributed to the end of this show. And it was funny this week. I didn't know what we were going to do. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know how it was going to end up, but it was important that we did it. So here's Dave.
I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray. But when I woke up this morning, could have sworn it was Judgment Day. The sky was all purple, there were people running everywhere. Tried to run from my destruction, you know I didn't even care. They say 2000 parties over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. 1999. I was dreaming when I wrote this, so sue me if it goes too fast. But life is just a party and parties weren't meant to last. War is all around us, my mind says prepare to fight. So if I gotta die, I'm gonna listen to my body tonight. They say 2000 parties over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna cry like it's 1999. 1999. All seven and we'll watch them fall. They stand in the way of love and we will smoke them all.
with an intellect and a savoir-faire. No one in the whole universe will ever compare. I am yours now and you are mine, and together we'll love through all space and time. So don't cry, one day all seven will die. Everybody's got a bomb, we could all die any day. But before I let that happen, I'll love my life away. They say 2000 parties over, oops, out of time. We're running out of time. So tonight I'm gonna cry like it's 1999. 1999. 1999. 1999.